Welcome back to another episode of Ministry of Truth. I am your number one host on this show. If you're epileptic, I'm sorry, not sorry, but maybe next time you should be aware that I like to use my strobe. How's everyone doing today? So we got nothing but politics. There's a lot of stuff that went on yesterday, as far as town halls, rallies, and Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, a few other people. But we got a lot of news to get into today because, well, we know the world's fucked up, and I'm gonna find some world fucked up news and stories and from the past and present. But before we get into that, we know it's time for a little motivational music to get you ready. And if you're here, you know why you're here.
The ties that bind us. The ties that bind us.
Yeah, you're here live today with Nikolai Vocals, Kona Cutter TV. And we here with the Southpaw Coalition. And we want to know, the world want to know this question. How did y'all get started? And how did y'all manage to stay together so long?
My connection started with meeting Doe B, inducted me. When you saw SPC, you seen me. The strength in our unity, strength in our works will help shape the strength in our community. We work together, learn together, live together. The family that pray together, stay together. Forge new ties that bind together, grind together, serve time together, and we gon' shine together. Keep my eyes wide open at all times. Leave no man behind, we all dying. The ties look deep in my eyes and you can see it. The bond so much stronger than a disagree.
With minds stronger than most men. From start to finish of time, we stand on both ends. Think about all the minds that we done open. We're bound together by ties that can't be broken. We're top soldiers with minds stronger than most men. From start to finish of time, we stand on both ends. Think about all the minds that we done open. We're bound together by ties that can't be broken. It all began with an idea and a plan I had to work through. I searched for new recruits cause roster building was the first move. We was cooking mental food without using a recipe. Blindly walking down the path of predetermined destiny. Me, GT, and Preppy J among the first to rip a record. 87 came, me and my brother Gangsta Nip connected. AC Chillin', Murder Warning, Conduct Cat, they made it great. Road with Rapper K to Dopey's house in 1988. Deuce Egypt and KO came with dope, it had to be this way. Dope recruited Grim and Blank recruited PSK. DBX with day one, so yeah, our whole crew is rare. Cause we're tied together by a force none of us knew was there. Top soldiers with minds stronger than most men. From start to finish of time, we stand on both ends. Think about all the minds that we done open. We're bound together by ties that can't be broken. We're top soldiers with minds stronger than most men. From start to finish of time, we stand on both ends. Think about all the minds that we done open. We're bound together by ties that can't be broken. The ties that bind us.
First I saw bounty posters, then unstrapped gun holsters, toting toasters, coasting, black roasters floating. Got a notion you was coming to try. Who art thou summoning? I, the sharp
Fabio Vega.
from the broadside, deny. I battle Reno on the grounds of his temple. Now the four corners of the world is where we assemble. Legions from all regions, leave them bleeding for seasons. Get in, get out, and get even. Nothing breathing, this is the reason. Klondike cat gon' bring lineal bombs. SPC is upper echelons, corresponding daily with spawn. Gigantic granite, underhanded bandit you face. So vacate your station as we crumble your nation.
Soldiers with minds stronger than most men. From start to finish of time, we stand on both ends. Think about all the minds that we done open. We're bound together by ties that can't be broken. We're top soldiers with minds stronger than most men. From start to finish of time, we stand on both ends. Think about all the minds that we done open. We're bound together by ties that can't be broken. The ties that bind us.
See, we're all bound together by the thirst for knowledge. At least that's why I'm here, and obviously to make fun of retards. So what retard do we have? Oh my god, that hurt. Let's go over some news articles that actually will pertain to some of the videos that you will see today. Except for this one. This one, I just wanted to show this one because it's great. So, those who don't know, the Netherlands is planning on suing certain people because of the COVID and COVID response and misinformation. But Netherlands, who are they going to sue? Who just donated $50 million to Kamala Harris? Netherlands orders Bill Gates and Albert Bourla to stand trial over COVID vaccines causing injuries and death. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So COVID vaccines. Oh, fuck. What was I going to say? Are bad? No way. It's not possible. Come on, that's fake news. Is it fake news? Could be. It's from Australia. But it's from the Netherlands, so you probably won't find any American articles on it yet. Because nobody wants you to know Bill Gates is being sued because of the vaccine. Who's next? Who's next? So Kamala Harris is going to say later on in this show, talking about how her and her staff, they have to be one cohesive unit. But according to the NBC 15 News, 92% of Kamala Harris staff quits. Her initial staff, quit. And then people don't want to work for her, saying that she's got attitude. She's, what's the word? She creates a hostile work environment. So if she's doing that as the VP, imagine what she's going to be doing as the President of the United States. I'm not really going to get into too much in this article because I just wanted you to see that it's real. When we talk about LaForest Gray Jr., here it says he is awaiting sentences, but he's got life in prison for what he did. And like I said, we'll get more into that later. So, now the news. Dun, 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 dun. Just kidding. I don't know how this shit's done. All right. Let's go back to Dalton and see what's up with America's super mayor. Because they're trying to serve this woman, but for some reason she keeps dodging it. How the fuck does she keep dodging it? Does she have more than one house?
South suburban politician Tiffany Henyard appears to have lost control of both governments she runs. Now she's teasing a big announcement that she claims will result in some of her opponents being arrested and charged.
Oh shit, wrong one.
Okay guys, we do not have a quorum, so we will not be having a board meeting this evening.
One of Tiffany Henyard's allies resigned, another has turned on her and refused to attend last night's Thornton Township meeting. It's a similar story in the village of Dalton, where a majority of trustees oppose the self-proclaimed super mayor.
Because all this point the finger to Tiffany or allow me, I'm over it.
Are you?
Now it's time for me to speak.
You?
Henyard spent an hour and a half on Facebook Live after the meeting, making a series of claims.
It's a power grab. That's it.
Your power grab.
For more than a year, Henyard
That's
has
hypocrisy
fiercely
right there.
fought against her critics.
Y'all are black. And y'all sit up here
I'm not
beating
black.
and attacking on a black woman that's in power.
That's
Y'all should be
racism.
ashamed of yourselves.
She's promised but so far failed to
Listen, I'm African American as well, and I don't claim her. So yeah.
fully explain spending more than 100,000 taxpayer dollars on first-class travel for herself and her allies, public money that went to her now-defunct namesake cancer charity, and expensive events with flown-in celebrities that cost more than $80,000. All of it exposed by WGN Investigates. But now she's taking her fight further, claiming without evidence her opponents are corrupt.
I will be seeking arrests
Okay.
for individuals involved.
You look like a
I
pig
will
with
be
that
pressing
nose.
charges. It's a lot. And that's just me telling you a little bit.
But my
As
hair's
Henyard's
real.
grip on power
hair's
loosens,
real.
she's also facing an eviction lawsuit.
I think that in her mind, she feels like she's untouchable,
They all do.
which is a problem.
Landlord Janetta Hull describes herself as a longtime friend of the Henyard family in Dalton, but notes Tiffany and her boyfriend, who makes $100,000 working for the township,
shit.
make good money while refusing to pay rent.
I have other
So he makes
bills.
over
I have
100,000.
uh,
She makes 425,000. They can't pay a $2,400 a month rent, and they've missed rent for the past 2 months.
child to take care of. I can't afford to pay for where you live. You're making $375,000.
Henyard's attorney says he'll defend her against the eviction lawsuit, but he
course,
did
that's
not
money.
explain why a couple who collects nearly $375,000 a year in taxpayer-funded salaries allegedly stopped paying rent. As for Henyard's threat to arrest her opponents on evidence of corruption, keep in mind this is not the first time she's promised big reveals that fail to materialize.
Didn't fall.
One day after.
So my guess, right, is that she's going to flee the country. She's under so much pressure and investigations that, she's canceled. What up, Yeti? She's been canceling of meetings, which is weird because wouldn't you want your town boards, county boards to be meeting and go over legislation and pay like that? Absolutely. But she doesn't want that. Yeah, dude, that came out like 10 minutes or early this morning, late afternoon, last night. So yeah, I keep up with a little bit. Dude, they're the shit. What can I say? All right, so this is from Missouri, and it's funny when gun owners pretend that they're gun owners and they like to shoot guns. But dude, you really want to shoot a 5.56 or a 2.23 at a metal target that's meant for 22 calibers from 10 feet away? Do you think that's a good idea? I don't think that's a good idea. Apparently, the senator from Missouri thought it was a good idea, and a reporter got fragments in his arm. 5.56, 2.23 at a 22 steel target.
After a campaign photo op in rural
What up,
Clinton
Zippity?
County backfired, almost literally, a Missouri Senate candidate back in the metro campaigning.
So a reporter got hurt at a Lucas Kuntz event on private property near Holt, Missouri. Fox 4's Hannah King joins us from Hickman Mills Drive, South Kansas City. So Hannah, you spoke to the Democrat about what happened yesterday?
Not even a legit range.
Lauren, I certainly did, and he told me he's been in contact with that TV reporter who was injured, and he was injured by either a fragment from a bullet or a piece of the target that came back and hit him.
I joined the Marine Corps, deployed to Iraq once, Afghanistan twice, and
You
now
should know
this is
better.
that next step in service.
Democratic
Faggot.
Senate candidate Lucas Kuntz is on the campaign trail, even after getting some new national attention over the last 24 hours.
There you go.
Fox 4 caught up with him Wednesday at the KC area pipe fitters training facility.
I've always said that the only people I'll ever owe are working people because that's who took care of me and my family when we went bankrupt.
Kuntz referring to a familial situation growing up. Wednesday's event comes off the heels of a visit to the backyard of a home in Holt, Missouri.
Me and
Uh-oh.
Adam Kinsinger were out there, and we were kind of taking
Oh,
turns
of
on
course,
the range,
Kinsinger.
and it seems like a fragment off of either a target or bullet ricocheted off. And,
look at this
nicked the
shit,
reporter
man.
in the arm, and so
Every time I see little fuckers like this. So he's obviously got an AR. It doesn't look like a 22 by chance because of not. But why does he have a huge burriscope for something that's 10 feet away? What the fuck? That's weird, Yeti. Well, most people shouldn't come up in live chat anyway. Or, the fuck am I looking at? Because I'm in live chat. But yet, man, former Marine should know better. Adam Kinzinger is a fucking piece of shit anyway, so we know he can't shoot because he's a faggot. But look, AR pistol, these are not 22s. This is not a 22. These are not 22s. These targets right here, they're steel targets you get from any sporting goods store, and they are steel, but they will tell you it's only made for 22. Or, pistol. Not a 5.56/223, depending on what kind of ammo they have. I'm going to assume it's a 223 because they look like, yeah.
Fragment off of either a target or bullet ricocheted off and nicked a reporter in the arm. And so, you know, when we saw it, we administered first aid, put a bandage on him. He's great. He seems like he's fine.
He called it a total accident, and this is video his campaign shared of the Marine rendering aid to the injured TV reporter.
You're cutting off the
I want to ask the proximity.
All right, let's go look at this. I'm going to complain. The wound is up here, obviously. Why the fuck is he wrapping tape super tight under the wound, cutting off circulation to the rest of his hand? The wound is right here. Oh, let me put that on big screen. The fucking wound is right here where the blood is, not where this fucking tape. Let it get cutting off the circulation. I'm a former Marine. I'm good at what I'm doing. And then you got Kinziger over here. Oh, that's cool, bro. That's so cool. This is going to make a great photo op.
Aid to the injured TV reporter.
Cut it short when you need it.
I want to ask the proximity of the target to the man hurt. Was he like close, or how close were you all?
I'm not sure how close he was. I'm not sure if I could see him out of my vision.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a shitty Marine.
To you all, or if he was asked.
I didn't notice. I mean, you'd have to ask him exactly what happened, but you know, I was just kind of talking to some other guys and then we saw that he had some blood on his arm.
Kuntz says local law enforcement was contacted.
Glad he's fine. I'm glad we had the first aid kits.
I hope he
handy.
sues
We
you.
were able to take care of him, and looking forward to hopefully seeing him out there more, just like seeing you.
I know better than to shoot small targets like that close. If you want to shoot shit like that, get bowling pins. I used to get bowling pins and shoot the fuck out of those. All right, this story is from 2019. This is the article I was talking about where the guy actually got life in prison. But this dumbass thought it would be cool to beat up his wife and then try to act like nothing happened, go in his garage and play like the victim, and then have a revolver. And then when the police shoot at him, he complains that the police shot at him. They shot at him. They didn't shoot him. They shot at him.
Pull up then. Pull up since you pulled up. Had that same energy. What's up? You pulled up, right? So pull up. Bro, y'all finna see live, bro. Straight up, y'all finna see live, bro. I'll take one for the team, yo. I swear to God. I swear to God. What's up?
You're going to be
What's
taking
up?
plenty for the team.
Get your hands off. Rachel, come here. Rachel, come here.
Who is it?
On the 13th of February 2019, the Orange County Sheriff's Office received multiple reports about an adult
Wait,
male
he talks shit about the McCloskeys? What a fucking piece of shit.
assaulting an adult female at an apartment complex in the Windermere area of Orlando, Florida.
Help us. There's a man beating up a woman in the road here, and she's saying she can't breathe.
I was upstairs in the 3rd floor.
Okay.
No, we're not leaving you.
No lie. If they were like, hey, we're going to buy you a new gun, you know what I would do? I would get a Barrett 50 cal with a silencer.
And we saw a guy pulling
Suppressor.
this girl's
I'm
hair
sorry,
in the
suppressor.
middle of the street.
Okay, is she with you?
She's with us right now, but the guy's convincing her to go with her.
People who lived at the apartment complex made up most of the callers, but the one who gave the most descriptive account of some of the events was a passerby. The man told police that he'd been driving in the area and encountered a distressed woman walking in the middle of the road, later identified as 24-year-old Rachel Gray. Concerned, he pulled over and got out of his vehicle to check on her. Rachel was said to have been dismissive and told the driver everything was okay, so he kept it moving. However, as he returned to his vehicle, Rachel jogged to the car and asked if he could take her out of the area. As the pair got into the vehicle, a man, later identified as 23-year-old LaForest Gray Jr., Rachel's husband, ran up, grabbed her out of the vehicle by her hair, and waved a gun at the witness, telling him not to follow or else he'd shoot him. Shaken, the driver called police and told them the last thing he saw was LaForest and Rachel going towards the apartment complex. Orange County Sheriff's deputies knew the situation at hand was dire, so multiple units were sent to the location to hunt for LaForest. When they arrived, residents of the apartment block pointed officers to the parking lot, and it was there they came face to face with the pair. Weapons were immediately drawn and commands of hands up and walk out slowly were shouted. Rachel complied and slowly began walking towards officers. LaForest, on the other hand, refused to follow orders and in fact had become more agitated by the police's presence. Rachel was hesitant to leave LaForest. Via verbal commands, he demanded that she stay by his side, but as each moment passed, she took one step closer to deputies.
I don't see your fucking hands either, bitch. You. Okay, so he can come here and talk to you. You want you pulled up? Pull up then. Pull up since you pulled up.
They did pull up.
Had that same energy.
They're literally in your driveway.
Up? You pulled up, right? So pull up.
They
right.
They
pull
are.
All the way up. What's up, bitch? What's up?
How's that clout working for you in prison, buddy?
My waist. You. I know this is your fucking waist. You. That's why I'm white. You.
What's he saying?
You.
Bless you.
Pull up.
Is he sneezing?
Pull up.
He did pull up.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
You listen to your wife, bro. Listen to your wife.
You pull up like that fool. Pulling up and be like that ain't cool, nigga. Fuck you.
So calm down so I can make him go away.
No, this nigga, he can pull all the way up. Come here. Come here and talk.
What do you mean? He is talking.
Pull up.
Oh, fucking crackers. At least he's not racist. Alright, Zippity, be careful.
Come here. Come here.
Don't do it.
This doesn't make any sense.
Look, stand in front of the light right there. Stand in front of the light. Stand in front of the light. Right, stop moving. Stop moving.
Well, at least we know she's out of that abusive relationship.
Get the fuck in the way of the light.
You yelling at me like that doesn't help.
Damn. This bro. Pulling up on me like that. What's up, nigga? What you wanna do?
What you just did, right?
Is he a nigger or is he a cracker? I'm curious.
Same thing they're doing. I hope you know that.
Well, the cops look like they're chill, though.
What you talking about? Who the fuck calls the police?
The guy that you pointed a gun at?
Citizens do.
There you go.
Bro. I ain't do shit to her, nigga. Fuck you. This nigga pulled up on some fuck shit, nigga. What'd I do to you?
Some
Rachel,
fuck shit.
All right, hold on. Besides yell, what'd I do to you?
It's none of their business.
Okay, but what'd I do to you? So go tell that that. Okay, so go tell him that they lying.
So it's more than yelling.
Okay, tell him. I need you to tell him. Because I don't care about none of this. You know what? Let's go home. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? I'm gonna turn up on all day, bro. Bro. Straight up.
Straight up.
Ooh. Yo, look in this bitch. Look in that bitch.
For what?
Don't talk to that bro.
What do you mean?
Don't say shit to that bro.
What do you mean out here?
You know what? Stop. You know what? Stop. I need it.
Yo, his
So we
neck
go
tattoos makes him. He's a straight thug. Like Chris Brown.
Bro, calm down, bro. Bro. You don't see your hands. Talking about? See my hands. You looking at my ain't you? You nigga, that's good enough. You pussy.
Fuck you, pussy. As he's hiding behind his car.
Let me see the bag, yo. Let me see the bag.
What bag?
Nah, don't.
Sir, everything is fine.
No, they're not. She just told you she's fine. These is crazy, bro. Really finna turn up on this, bro. Y'all finna see live, bro. Straight up, y'all finna see live, bro.
Oh, he was trying to get money.
Yo, I swear to God. I swear to God. What's up? What's up? Come here. Come here. Come here. Rachel, come here. Rachel, come here. Get your hands off her. Get your hands off her. Get your hands off of her. Get your hands off of her. Get
And she's out of the way.
Rachel, come here.
I mean, he had a revolver.
Bruh. Bruh.
You didn't get shot. You ain't a thug, bruh.
Shut up.
And I'm pretty sure he thought himself was a record producer.
Rachel, come here.
So I may have looked into this guy's background. This dude has multiple felonies. Multiple felonies to include not having a gun. In 2017, 2016. He did this shit in 2019. Bro. This dude thought he was like a thug. He thought he was Al Capone. No, just kidding. I don't know, some rapper that other rapper that got caught up and went to jail.
Rachel, come here.
You think she's gonna come in there now?
Rachel, come here.
Well, he is on the ground.
Rachel, come here. Rachel, come here. Come here. Rachel, come here. Let my wife go. Let her go.
So you can beat her again?
Bro, look at this shit, bro. Look at this shit right now, bro.
It's a hole.
What the fuck, bro?
You have a gun.
Rachel, come here. Still shooting at me and shit, bro. Rachel, come here. Rachel, come here. Hey, go on my page.
The fuck are they gonna do on your page?
Yo,
Yo.
go watch my live.
Dude, we're literally watching it.
Yo, how you tag? Yo,
Yo.
go watch my live on my page. He's pussy shot at
Yo,
me for no
bitches,
reason, bro.
people
He's
really are
lying on
watching
me
already.
again, bro. They taking my wife, bro. Straight up, bro. They're trying to kill me for it, bro. Look at this shit, bro. He's pussy really just shot at me, bro. Police just shot at me, bro. Police just shot at me, bro. And they taking my wife, bro. What the f?
Dude.
Rachel! 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 Rachel!
This dude really thinks he's gonna get out of this?
Rachel! Yo, I pinned,
You know,
I pinned my name, bro.
as bad as this sounds, if his wife did go back in there, I could see a murder-suicide type situation. Really could.
I pinned my Instagram, bro. Go peep, bro.
We are peeping it, bro.
Police just shot at me, bro. What the f, bro?
Tell him the whole story,
Police
bro.
just shot at me, bro. For no reason, bro. I ain't even got shit, bro. I don't have shit. You just shot for me. You shot me for no reason.
You're not shot.
And they took my wife, bro. On the Instagram, bro. Christina Rossi. Her name Rachel Gray, bro. They just took her, bro.
That's because you were beating on her.
Rachel! Damn.
What?
I ain't even got. No.
Dude, if you ain't got shit, then what's the issue with putting your hands up? Only two ways out of this. Yeah, you know you're fucked now. You see his face just...
Yo, I go by Richard I saw, yo. Big LA.
What?
Straight up, yo. Big LA, yo.
Big LA, yo. Go peep his live stream. He tagged himself.
At this time, it is believed the suspect was not hit. However, he did resist arrest and was bitten by a canine. His revolver, the suspect's revolver, was found there at the scene. And all of our deputies are okay, thankfully. The woman was uninjured. We also learned that the shooting was captured on Instagram by the suspect himself, and we're in the process of reviewing that right now. All 3 deputies are assigned body-worn cameras, and we have not reviewed their footage as of yet. The investigation will be turned over to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and I'll give you the suspect's name. His name is LaForest Duran Gray Jr. He's 23 years old, 4/3/1995.
Yeah, just look him up, his name in Florida. You'll find him. There's only 3 of them.
Again, you said 3 deputies fired. What prompted them to fire exactly?
Yeah, that's all part of the investigation, but as I said, the suspect's gun was recovered there at the scene.
Did he point at the deputies?
Yeah, that's part of the investigation.
So nobody was shot in front of him?
That's correct,
okay.
Yeah.
You're receiving reports that somebody was shot, but that's not true.
Our preliminary investigation is that all 3 deputies fired their weapon.
Is it a couple? And do you know what they were fighting about?
I have no idea what they were fighting about, but it appears to be some type of domestic situation.
Is this a home that you've had reports or issues with before that you've...
I'm not sure. We'll have to get you that information.
Any idea what charges he's going to be facing right now?
Attempted murder times 4.
No, but we'll get that information.
And what kind of injuries did he receive from the dog bite?
What's that?
What kind of injuries did he receive?
Obviously a bite.
Injuries related to a dog.
Dog bites.
Like the severity of it. Like
what's that?
No, the dog bit his whole fucking hand off, you retard. He said it's a dog bite. Come on. Those dogs, they grip on and they don't let go. So it's still a dog bite.
Like how seriously was he injured?
I'm not sure.
Is he going to be hospitalized?
He's at the hospital receiving treatment from a dog bite right now. I'm not sure the extent of.
I mean, I've bitten by a dog before.
Although multiple shots
right here,
were fired,
when I was like
LaForest
9,
survived
10.
the shooting untouched and was eventually apprehended
Fucking Rottweiler.
shortly after the
Babysitters.
Instagram live ended. He didn't go down without a fight though and had to be tasered and bitten by a canine before finally giving up. He was booked in on multiple charges, including multiple counts of first-degree attempted murder of a law enforcement officer, kidnapping, burglary of a conveyance, resisting arrest with violence, battery, domestic violence,
He stole a
battery,
car?
and aggravated assault with a firearm. This case was wrapped up relatively quickly, which is surprising given the circumstances. But if you think nothing happened before the trial, because yes, LaForest would take it to one, then you're in for a shocker. Just 2 months after he was booked into jail, LaForest wrote to the judge who was overseeing the case, Circuit Judge Bob LeBlanc, and asked him to dismiss it, after stating that this was all a big misunderstanding and that he himself was the victim of false and outrageous accusations. You see, Rachel and LaForest were mid-level adult entertainers. During my research on this case on forum boards, it seems as if quite a few people had watched their content before, so they must have made a decent
Pornhub?
from it. LaForest tried to explain to Judge LeBlanc that he and Rachel were acting out a scene from one of their shoots like they had done many times in the past, and the neighbors had simply got the wrong end of the stick. He also stated that when the officers arrived, they A, approached unprofessionally, B, didn't make themselves known, hence why he didn't comply, and C, reached for
I mean, what more do you need? Police car? Cherries and berries? Spotlight? Put your hands in the air! Put your hands in the air! You knew they were fucking police, you retard. Sounds like some sovereign citizen bullshit.
his weapon because he had been shot at by people in the past, and so on those grounds, the case should have also been dismissed due to the police response. It's to no surprise the judge didn't dismiss the case. Rachel and I have an online social media presence where we often roleplay. This type of roleplay even goes to the extent of Rachel using a stage name that I thought of. In our roleplay adventures, we have traveled, purchased specific items, added other members, and have acted the part in our videos and online personalities. Some of our roleplay adventures can be found on an adult entertainment website. On the 13th of February 2019, Rachel and I were roleplaying in one of our many adventures. Absolutely no crimes were committed, and I certainly didn't do anything.
I don't think he's a Moor.
Nor did I take her against her will for any reason whatsoever. Rachel is a princess in my world.
He doesn't give off Moor
vibes. On the 13th of February 2019, the officers involved never identified themselves. They weren't ever professional with us. Rachel and I were shocked and feared for our safety when one of the officers arrived speeding in our direction, nearly striking Rachel through the apartment complex parking lot. We feared for our lives when the officers slammed on the brakes, got out of the vehicle, and immediately pointed firearms at both.
You know, looking at the interaction with both his wife and him when the cops were there, did they look like they were in distress? Except for the black guy just yelling. The wife didn't. She didn't look like she was in fear.
Rachel and I. After being shot by unknown shooters in the past, I feared for my life as well as Rachel's. When the other officers arrived, they too immediately pointed their firearms at us. One of the officers tasered me while another abducted Rachel, pulling on her injured arm. Then the rest pointed their firearms at me and attempted to take my life by firing over a dozen shots at me. I retreated for cover behind my car, which they destroyed. The rest of the dismissal is essentially LaForest attempting to gaslight the judge. But remember, the judge by this point has seen the Instagram live and the body cam footage. So he knows that LaForest is painting a false narrative. As you already know, the
he must work for
the
CNN.
charges was denied, and so LaForest's next strategy to try and somehow beat this case was to attempt to get the video evidence thrown out before taking the case to trial. In May of 2019, that motion was filed. LaForest stated that the body cam footage and Instagram Live were irrelevant to the case on the grounds that the officers conducted an unlawful search. I wasn't at any point in time in my life served a search warrant for any reason. Also a fact in the affidavit.
You're a multi-time felon, you faggot.
Anything happened, meaning the deputies shouldn't have been there in the first place. The Instagram live videos and body-worn cameras.
So the guy that he waved his gun at, that was asking if they were okay, that was part of the video? That was part of your video? I mean, you point a gun at me. I don't give a fuck if you think you're playing a video or not. You're going to play that stupid game.
Be suppressed because they aren't relevant. Once again, the motion was dismissed. So, a small trial began in September of 2019, and there aren't many reports about what went down in court, but we do know that LaForest told the jury what he told the judge back when he tried to get the case dropped. And let's just say it probably sounded better in his head than it did out loud.
Yeah, George, earlier today he was cursing on the stand, calling witnesses liars, and at one point he even pointed the middle finger toward the jurors. In the end, the jury ended up agreeing with the prosecution's version of what happened back in February.
23-year-old LaForest Gray looked straight ahead as he heard his fate.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of attempted first-degree premeditated murder on a law enforcement.
Looking at him in this one, he definitely is. I don't think he's a Moor at all. Far from it.
Officer.
Guilty of the most serious charges he faced.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of kidnapping with intent to inflict bodily harm or terrorize.
Earlier today, jurors had the chance to hear his side of the story.
And so the law enforcement officer, he arrives and he tells you, let me see your hands.
He says, show me your
That's fine. Did you show
Same
him
thing.
your hands?
I showed him my hands like that.
Gray's testimony was filled with profanity.
On the video, you say, I'm really about to turn up on these. You about to see this live.
For the young people in the audience, what does turn up mean? Have a good time, get loud, rowdy, whatever.
That's not how you turn up with the cops.
To get more people's attention.
So the audience, this is a show for you, correct? You right now,
What?
this is a show.
You just
Does
fucked
it
up.
make sense that a little white girl without a phone would go jump in a stranger's car, not knowing who the stranger is, knowing what kind of time.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense when she's trying to get away from you, sir.
He can think about his children along the way because they now have to suffer.
That's the wife.
And after getting on the stand and making up some story that he did, I hope you can understand why I finally decided to tell the truth.
Hell yeah. Piece of shit.
Following the trial, the jury found him guilty on most of the charges, although he was found not guilty on some of them, including 2 of the 4 counts of attempted murder of a law enforcement official. Either way, he was handed a life sentence for the other 2 counts of attempted murder and was handed lengthy sentences for all the other charges. It's unclear if he's being granted parole or not, but either way, it's safe to say that LaForest Gray isn't going to be getting his freedom anytime soon.
He doesn't need it.
In March of 2020...
He doesn't need it. Oh. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Hoax Wars break.
At my command, you will focus on me and only me. You will respond to my call no matter where you are on the planet. Every aspect of your life will be conducted through my channels. Information, entertainment, love, food, all of your necessities will go through me. We are now one. Every invention has an intention, some for passive ascension, others purposes too savage to mention. The misuse of technology worsens, world's curses emerging, causing a massive surge in its perversion. Mind control motives started the issue, purposely plotted against you, cause true intelligence is not artificial. Features of devices expand, they purposely plan to make us feel as if we have the universe in our hands. As you stare in the portal, more distractions grab you and hold you. You scroll through with the focus view, now it controls you. Overloaded by all of the open roads that it shows you. The whole scope of this roguish world is at your disposal. Your mind is the target of forces designed to dissolve it. More time in the darkness makes the laws blind and lethargic. Profusely distracted, your actions reduced into fragments. The computer's a magnet that has you useless and stagnant. Under digital hypnosis, you drift slowly down the well as your consciousness fails under the spell and critical psychosis. Your attention span is held in a cell just like someone in jail under digital hypnosis. You drift slowly down the well as your consciousness fails under the spell and critical psychosis. Your attention span is held in a cell just like someone in jail. You gaze at it attentively, enslaved and defenseless. Organic forms of mental stimulation fade from your interest. The template, you introduced it to your infants at an early age. So by digital means, little boys and girls are raised, glued to superficial visuals too. It imprisons you, then inhibits your peripheral view. Then you travel slow into the rabbit hole. Different categories data load, from the average shows to pornographic mode. The social network inertia grows, the content disturbs your soul. But even so, you can't control the urge to scroll. Your motivational circuits blow, and work is no longer an urgent goal as divergence seem irreversible. You assume the fate of subhuman state. Days on the calendar enumerate as the wasted hours accumulate undeniably. So the second you step away from it entirely, you mire in separation anxiety. Digital hypnosis, you drift slowly down the well as your consciousness fails under the spell and critical psychosis. Your attention span is held in a cell just like someone in jail under digital hypnosis. You drift slowly down the well as your consciousness fails under the spell and critical psychosis. Your attention span is held in a cell just like someone in jail. Weeks, months of overconsumption, screen drunk and despondent, becoming one with non-nutritive content. Smart cars and phones direct you, smart televisions connect to the game and systems built to possess you. Disconnected our best self and rebuild us. No real pictures, the women addicted to filters. Through endless corridors you slide through, your mind remotely abides to every direction that it guides you. Inside these applications you found, there's no sacred ground to lay down. Your child is now in a predator playground. Your feelings are what they've experimented with. AI that can read intimate thoughts in your mind and print the images. Your work ethic is practically absent, captivated by a platform that'll have you erratic if it collapses. Doing what it commands, it makes you fascinated with a breakthrough created to ultimately replace you. Out of never sound sleep, it wakes you. You race and can't wait to get to all of the shady places it takes you. Your device is alive, it has eyes and it hears. Soon as you mention the product, the advertisement appears. You thirst and gamble online nervously and hurriedly submerge your financial future in digital currency. We one of these dreams with autonomy, trusting what the numbers be as we invest in the fast falling economy. It's remodeling you into an inoperative fool while you're watching the TV. The TV is watching you too. Self-discipline overran, so we are not to withstand. Lost in the labyrinth of websites, locked in a trance. You voluntarily give it your life daily in private. You submit all of your personal information inside it. It's the World Wide Web, the lower desire finder with a buzz trapped in it. The spider is its designer. This is digital hypnosis. You drift slowly down the well as your consciousness fails under the spell in critical psychosis. Your attention span is held in a cell just like someone in jail under digital hypnosis. You drift slow.
All right, welcome back. Now we're going to get into some people's least favorite things, but I do like to talk about it because, well, these are the people running our country. These are the people that other countries look at and be like, oh yeah, this is America, judging by who the president of the United States is. So we're going to start off with Decoy Voice. He did a video on Kamala and her basically calling Donald Trump Hitler. And then without any actual reasons, and she just did this in a press conference yesterday.
So yesterday we learned that Donald Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, a retired
Remember, they're talking about that Atlantic article that we went over yesterday.
four-star general, confirmed that while Donald Trump was president, he said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had.
You mean two?
Now, here's the thing. Those field marshals that fucking Hitler had, those were leaders. I'm not saying they were a great people. Just like Hitler, he's not a great person at all. The leadership styles, however, was something that's very well noticed because they were disciplined and they did their job efficiently and effectively. Now, because they were being led by a madman, that's what makes a difference.
Weeks before the election, after taking a day off, Kamala came out of hiding to deliver this 3-minute scripted message, taking 0 questions. Because although this is a serious claim, the source of this so-called October surprise is ridiculous, as she's citing this article from The Atlantic, claiming he wanted Hitler's generals, saying that 2 people heard him say this in a private conversation, but in the very next line in that article, they also report that it's absolutely false and Trump never said this. As others point out how convenient it is that Kelly heard Trump say this, forgot about it for 5 years, but suddenly remembered 2 weeks before the election. But that didn't stop the mainstream media from all reporting on this shocking new revelation in unison, where the corporate media is reaching meme levels of stupidity. So Trump works a shift at McDonald's and Kamala goes into hiding, and the best they could come up in 24 hours is a rehash of he's Hitler. Kamala's collapsing in the polls not because the people don't know how evil they think Trump is, it's because she constantly campaigns on a new way forward while simultaneously saying she would change nothing about the last 4 years. But this is all they have.
Donald Trump would invoke Adolf Hitler, the man who is responsible for the deaths of 6 million Jews and hundreds of thousands of Americans. All of this is further evidence for the American people of who Donald Trump really is.
Which again, is meme levels of political arguments and is basically all they have left. As when Elon Musk became outspoken about supporting Trump, there's now entire articles being written about how he too is the new Hitler, which goes to show how little they think of their voter base, as there would be a way to sway undecided voters based on Trump's actual actions. He campaigned in 2016 on Drain the Swamp, which he didn't. He had the opportunity to make several popular pardons at the end of his presidency, but he only pardoned some rappers and Democrats. Operation Warp Speed, something he constantly championed that many Americans saw as a failure. And if she thought the voters could decide based on critical thinking, not emotions and fear, that would have been her entire campaign. But no, all she has is 3 minutes of this.
Donald Trump is someone who, I quote, certainly falls into the general definition of fascists.
Does he?
Who in fact vowed to be a dictator on day one and vowed to use the military as his personal militia
Which is funny
carry
because
out his
recently the new DOD memo, Biden allowed that if they're supporting law enforcement.
personal and political vendettas. Donald Trump is increasingly unhinged and unstable.
Unhinged and unstable, the Democrats have become the party of projection, as I have no idea what's going on with their nose hair.
Actually, it was in February of 2004. Olives with cream cheese on dark rye.
That sounds gross.
And within days,
Happy
she
meth day,
also
birthday.
appears to have these massive
Short
mood
bus,
swings
good to
while
see
on
you, brother.
stage. When they claim Trump is becoming increasingly unhinged, it's the same way they say Trump is tired and exhausted. Trump is nearly 2 decades older than Kamala, and in one day he did an interview with Howie Carr, worked a shift at McDonald's, did a town hall for over an hour, then went to Pittsburgh to watch an NFL game. And what did Kamala do? She took a day off 2 weeks before the election.
The question
And
in
had
13
Obama do
days
her
will
rally.
be, what do the American people want? Thank you.
Now that's for the Emmy reaction. What the president said about
Not gonna answer any questions.
As this journalist question is in reference to Biden saying this.
We gotta lock him up.
So after carambling for over 3 minutes about how Trump is like a Nazi, they asked her, what about that fascist action your boss is threatening his political opponent with? And she simply walks away, which again is just more deflection through projection. They claim Trump is a danger to democracy, while she's already planning on challenging the election results.
We will deal with election night and the days after as they come, and we have the resources and the expertise and the focus on that as well.
So you have teams ready to go? Is that what you're saying? Are you thinking about that as a possibility?
Of course.
And never before have we seen the establishment so terrified to lose an election. And the fact that it's over a guy that has 5 kids from 3 different women, a multiple-time felon that got shot in the face, a Donald that worked at McDonald's and
Sounds like an
also quit
American.
his very first shift. His story makes him sound more like a SoundCloud rapper than a president. And if that's the guy that has them terrified, I think the political establishment's control over the people is finally starting to crumble. So if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, hopefully I've earned your
I
subscription.
like those ones because I don't have to talk as much. Now we're going to talk about the article from John Kelly and the Hitler comments, and who's going to have a rebuttal good for it? None other than, oh fuck, it's on the screen. God damn it. RFK.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Let him talk.
USA. USA.
Sorry, that's like a natural reaction when I hear USA.
So I was driving down here today from Atlanta, and I read an article from the New York Times that Bill Gates had just donated $50 million to Kamala Harris's campaign. And the article said that it was the first donation that he's made in 20 years, that he stayed out of politics.
Well, that's
He's
weird.
been bipartisan. It was a dark money donation. He didn't intend for it to be public. He routed the donation through a 501c4, which was an organization that was set up to conceal large money donations
No shit.
to the Harris campaign. Now,
No, you're good, short bus.
he said, when the Times asked him, he said he had donated 0. in the 2020 campaign when President Biden was running against President Trump. And he said this campaign is different than any other. And so he felt the need to do this. Now, do you think Bill Gates made that donation out of a patriotic impulse?
Fuck no.
Do you think he made it out of a humanitarian
The Wise also
impulse?
reports that Florida victims from floods and hurricanes are all selling their properties right now. Not all of them, but they're selling their properties because it's all gone. But they don't want to rebuild. And by selling those properties, because they're going to get the insurance money anyway, plus selling the property, it leaves for places like BlackRock to go buy up those houses and that property and continue to build detention places where people can live.
Do you think he made it because he wants global health? Or because he wants to make America healthy again?
No, not at all.
Well, there was something else, another article about Bill Gates that came out today that said he's just been indicted.
Well, that's partially true because he was already fighting the indictment, saying, "Oh, I need to get out, blah, blah, blah. I'm not held responsible." And then the courts were like, yeah, you are. So get ready to get sued.
He's been indicted in the Netherlands for lying to the public about the COVID vaccine. And he's going to have to go to trial. You think that he wants to go to trial here in the United States of America?
No.
You think maybe that's one of the reasons he chose to give $50 million to Kamala Harris?
Full pardon.
Oh, I want to point out somebody who's in the audience tonight.
Me?
She's a woman named Sherry Peebles.
Never heard of her. Sorry, it's not me.
And Sherry, are you here? Will you stand up if I can point you out?
She not there?
Okay, so Sherry Peebles is an African-American woman who has a daughter, Shayna, a straight-A student.
Is this the one that got
She missed
arrested?
60 days of school.
Yep.
Because she was in a hospital.
Went to jail for 3 years?
Because she had sickle cell anemia. And her mom, Sherry, filled out all the forms, the federal and the state forms, explaining why she was missing her school. She did her schoolwork every day. She got straight A's, as I said. But Kamala Harris was the Attorney General of California.
I think truancy is a
Kamala
fucking
Harris
bullshit
learned that the
anyway.
state was losing $1.3 billion a year because of truancy. And
They
she
need
said,
that speed
I
time.
want that money. So I'm going to start putting parents in jail whose children skip too much school. Oh, she arrested Sherry Peebles in her
I'm not
home.
gonna lie. I get truancy notes almost every year for my kids because they go over the max. But I'm always telling them, and I fill out when I have to send it back. I'm like, listen, they got straight A's. When they have fucking dropping grades, then let me know about them missing school. I know they're missing school because I let them. They have straight A's. It doesn't make sense. You want people in the seats because that's how you get paid. And that's why they have you fill out those federal impact forms, which I never fill out because fuck you. I pay property taxes.
The police came in and handcuffed her. And when she said, why am I being handcuffed? The police said to her, talk to Kamala Harris. They didn't want to be doing it either. She lost her job. She lost her home, and she still raised an extraordinary child. Don't you want a president of the United States who's going to end chronic disease rather than putting parents in jail?
Well, how's he going to end chronic disease? That's what I want to know. It's called chronic for a reason.
Oh, you want an America president who's going to make our country healthy again?
Oh, yeah. We should bring back jump rope for heart. I remember doing that in elementary school.
I was driving down here today that shocked me too, actually. One was of President Obama saying that he didn't understand.
I guess
and
the
he
crowd
didn't
doesn't like
understand
Obama.
where all the division was coming from and the polarization in this country. And then there was another posting by Kamala Harris standing outside the Naval Observatory, which is the official residence of the Vice President of the United States, standing behind the presidential seal for our country, and comparing Donald Trump to Hitler. And saying that he was a fascist. And she based this extraordinary, irresponsible accusation on a story by John F. King,
not Kennedy,
who was the director of Department of Homeland Security under Donald Trump, and is a former Marine general, and is deep into the
General
deep
Kelly's
state
a bitch.
and to the intelligence apparatus in this country. Or John F. Kelly, I'm sorry. And Kelly told another story that Donald Trump had, during his presidency, Donald Trump learned that there was a Mexican-American soldier who had been murdered at Fort Hood, and that the Pentagon was refusing to pay her medical expenses, her funeral expenses. And Donald Trump said, if they won't do it, then I'm going to do it myself. And he paid her expenses out of his own pocket.
See, that I did not know until I looked it up after he said it.
And in order to discredit this extraordinary gesture of love and generosity by the American president, a soldier who he had never met before, John Kelly invented a story that he had made.
So if those that don't know who that Vanessa Guillen is, she's that specialist in Fort Hood that was messing around with one of her sergeants, and him and his wife pretty much killed her.
Remark about Mexicans. Unfortunately for Kelly, there were 3 people in the room at that time who all said that Kelly was lying, and it was an outright fabrication.
Oh.
So
you mean to tell me the Atlantic wrote a story that was not true, and now the president and vice president are pushing it out as if it's true? Once you put it out there, you can't take it away. It's always going to be out there. Operation Mockingbird.
we need to wonder when Kelly invents this story that says that, where he said that President Trump wanted generals around him who were like Hitler's generals, which of course he didn't say. We already know that Kelly is a liar. And that Kelly invented other stories that were derogatory about the president. And these are the kind of stories you're seeing from all the generals and the intelligence agents who do not want to see Donald Trump in office again. And we have now somebody who's running for the presidency of the United States, a vice president, who is repeating these irresponsible stories. And to me, that alone disqualifies her.
You know, it's crazy when I watch things like this, because when I look at pick these kind of stories, I typically only watch 5 to 10 minutes of it. And it's funny because now he's saying what I've been saying, which is, you know what, that very first song brings it all together again.
You all know that when we were most Americans, when we're growing up, of my age at least, we were asked about this moral quandary about whether we would, if we could go back in time and kill a young Hitler.
No.
Should we do that?
No.
And half the people say yeah, half maybe say no. But it's something that we all think about.
What I would do is I would go back in time and ensure Adolf was accepted into that art school, because that would have changed everything.
And you think about how many unstable people there are in this country. And when you compare an American president to Hitler, you're pressing a button in those people to make them act on those violent aspirations and impulses. And it's at worst, don't you want a president who's going to bring America together again?
I think that's what we all want.
Who's going to end the polarization and the division in our country? You know, I left the Democratic Party because the Democratic Party left me. The Democratic Party that I grew up with was the party of peace. It was the party of constitutional rights, including free speech. It was the party of women's rights and women's sports. My uncle, Ted Kennedy, wrote Title IX to make sure that women could play sports with other women. It was the party of
That's
cops
fucking crazy.
and firefighters.
Title IX was written by a Democrat, and now all of a sudden Democrats are like, no. You can't tell me what a woman is. No one knows. It's what you feel like. So if you feel like a woman, I guess you're a woman. So there's that song, right? Oh my God. Natural Woman. You make me feel. You make me feel like a nat. No, fuck. I fucked that part up because whatever. Back to the craziness.
And working people. And it was the party that stood up to Wall Street, the big banks, big ag, big pharma, big food, and all of the other vested interests that have gained ownership of our government.
Trump wins, well, more likely if he wins, if he's going to put him in charge of like the FDA, because I wonder if that would get rid of GMOs and all the other stuff that other countries in the world say are fucking dangerous that we put in our food.
And have captured our agencies and made them predatory against the American public. And the Democratic Party today is the party of war. It is the party of surveillance, of censorship. You listen to President Harris boast about the people who are supporting her, who have flocked now to the Democratic Party. People like John
What are we cooking,
Kelly,
Deputy?
people like Dick Cheney. Do you want Dick Cheney back in the White House?
Fuck no.
And people like John Bolton.
Fuck that clown.
These are the people who wrote the Patriot Act, the act that launched the surveillance state, that launched the national security state, that introduced torture.
Is actually still enacted. Trump got rid of it, but for some reason he brought it back. And now that it's there, but they've pretty much changed their name to FISA, the FISA courts. And that's the reason those Democrat wanted those border bills passed because it allowed for more spying on American citizens. Every American citizen. Oh, by the way, if they're monitoring communications, 9 times out of 10, the intelligence communities such as the ones that I just talked about, they don't monitor shit coming into the country. They only monitor shit in the country and that's leaving the country. Think about that. They're spying us, everyone, because there's a huge database in Langley that's recording this right now that's going to hold this.
They introduced surveillance and allowed the CIA to spy on the American public for the first time in our history. They're the people who gave us the Iraq War, who lied to us in order to get us into the Iraq War. That war was the worst foreign policy blunder in American history.
Ooh, sounds good. Not Deputy, not what.
That war cost $4.3 trillion. And we killed more Iraqis than Saddam Hussein. We created ISIS.
We did.
We drove 4 million refugees into Europe and destabilized every democracy in Europe for generations.
Oops.
Brexit is a direct result of that war. All of the riots we're seeing now in European cities are a result of that war. The rise of totalitarianism across Europe, the end of free speech across Europe is a result of that war.
And they're trying to make it come here.
And don't you think we should have learned a lesson from that war? You think the Democratic Party learned that lesson?
They don't give a shit. They don't.
You think Dick Cheney?
Talking, I think it was my daughter. Or maybe it was you. Did that just freeze? I don't agree with having somebody that has never been in a foreign war, never been in, even served basic training. Kind of like that, you go from being a nobody to being in charge of the military when you have no idea how the military works, but you have advisors. But how do you know if your advisors are full of shit? You fire them, right, Donald Trump? And then they come back and lie again and again.
Has changed his opinion about the Patriot Act? No. He's changed parties because he thinks the Democratic Party is now the party of the neocons. It's
What up,
the party
Roots?
of surveillance, of censorship, of war. And it's the party that is a cheerleader for big ag, for big pharma, or the people who are poisoning our children. The most existential threat that our country faces today is this chronic disease epidemic. When my uncle was president, I was a 10-year-old boy. 6% of Americans had chronic disease. 3% were obese. We spent $0 every year treating chronic disease. Zero. Today, 60% of Americans have chronic disease. About 70% are obese or overweight. Do you know how many people are obese and overweight in Japan?
All right. Before we get to this, obese. Because I'm only 5'8" and I weigh 180 pounds, I am considered obese. I believe they want me to weigh right around 154 to be healthy, which I've done. But I definitely didn't look healthy, did I? When I was 150, I was like skinny as fuck, wasn't I? Bad. Damn. But when I got back and I went to 150, I looked sick. Yeah, she'll tell you, it made me look sickly. I was like, man, fuck that. I'm going to get up to at least 170, 175, which is more my natural weight.
3%, same as here in 1963. We have 70%. 77% of American kids cannot qualify for military service.
Yep.
The diabetes
Because
rates in our country have
the biggest thing, psychiatric meds. Oh, my kid has ADHD, so we're going to give him some Ritalin. Oh, we're going to give him some Zoloft. We're going to do this. Oh, or we're going to say he had asthma when he never really had asthma, because that kind of fucks your kid in the end. Seeing it, we were able to put a few of them back in the Army. They had to get tested for a year to prove they didn't have asthma, and they had to pay for it.
Gone from virtually zero. When I was a kid, the average pediatrician saw one case of diabetes in his entire 50-year career. Today, 1 out of every 3 children who walk through his office door is diabetic or pre-diabetic. When I was a kid, and today, in 70-year-old men, 1 in 10,000 people had autism. Today, 1 in every 34 of our children have autism. 1 in every 22 boys.
And here's the thing, when people talk about autism, typically they say that they're on the spectrum, right? This is the new thing. And I've always think everyone's autistic. They are. It's how they interact with people, how they remember stuff. Everyone's autistic in their own way. Some of them are just worse than others, but they still make productive members of society. Everyone's autistic. That's why it's called the spectrum.
This is existential for our country. We're spending $4.3 trillion on chronic disease. That's 5 times our military budget.
Yep.
This is going to destroy our country unless we have a president who's going to end it forever.
I like to make America healthy again. Our motto.
And that's why I am fighting every waking moment for the next 15 days to make sure that Donald Trump is elected President of the United States. Now, when I was a kid,
Dude, he needs to be in charge of the FDA.
Republicans controlled all the money in this country. 70% of the wealth in our country was owned by Republicans, about 30% by Democrats.
It's mixed the other way now.
Today, 70% of the wealth is owned by Democrats and 30% by Republicans. There's been a total inversion of policy and of the constituencies of both these parties. The Republican Party has become the party of working people in this country. About a month ago, I was with Charlie Kirk. Let's give a big hand for Charlie Kirk.
He loves to tell you the fact that he's not college educated.
And he said to me, he said, Donald Trump ran all the billionaires out of the Republican Party, like Bill Gates. And yesterday, it was announced.
What do you mean? Short bus.
That Kamala Harris has raised $2 for every $1 that has been raised by Donald Trump. That's because it's all coming from people like Bill Gates. And they have all the money now. We have all the people. Do you think that Kamala Harris could put together a crowd like this?
No. Unless she paid him.
No way. We are going to win this by a landslide.
If that's true, this might be one of the first elections we've had that would be a straight up landslide.
USA. Don't you want a president of the United States that is going to defend our Constitution? I say one other thing.
You can still eat all the junk food you want. But the thing is, like, do you want the GMOs if they make you sick? You can still eat beef. You can still eat pork. You can still eat vegetables. Just the way it's processed and the preservatives that actually Now that I think about it, maybe that's why a lot of other countries aren't as obese. Huh.
And Harris said today in her post, in her speech, she said that President Trump was going to turn the U.S. military against the American public and use the public
What up, A-Cop?
to promote his agenda. How many of you think that is true? Well, what's interesting to me is that the Biden-Harris administration has done something 2 weeks ago that has never been done in American history, which is to send exactly lethal force, to send a directive
Yeah.
to the Pentagon.
Told you, that's that fucking DOD memorandum that I was talking about, that somehow the liberals are saying, well, Donald Trump said he's going to turn the military against the American people, when it was this administration that signed it and had it approved by DOD. I sound like a broken record, I know.
Changing the law to make it legal for the U.S. military to use lethal force against American citizens on American soil.
A lot of people don't know that.
It's legal for the U.S. military under this directive. It will
That's a good question,
for the
Short
U.S. military to shoot and kill Americans who engage in political protests because they disagree with policies in the White House. I'm not making this up. Any of you can look it up. This is a Democratic initiative. This did not come during
What's
the
up,
Trump
Harper?
administration.
I knew you'd be right
This
behind.
did not come from Donald Trump. It came from the Democratic Party. And that's why I left the Democratic Party. Don't you want a president of the United States
Right?
who is going to protect our Constitution? Oh, you want a president who's going to end all the foreign forever wars?
I mean, yeah, I want that.
Oh, you want a president who's going to stand up for free speech? Oh, you want a president who's going to stand up for the Bill of Rights?
Yeah.
And don't you want a president who is going to stand up for the Constitution of the United States
You
in
talking
every
about me?
way? And don't you want a president who has the guts to stand up to the CIA?
Fuck yeah.
And don't you want a president who is able to stand up to the military-industrial complex and to BlackRock
Get him.
and to Bill Gates
Get him.
and to State Street
Huh?
and Vanguard
Get him.
and Wall Street
Hell yeah.
and Big Ag and Big Pharma and Big Food.
Yo, is this LA Night?
And don't you want a president who's going to make America healthy again? And vote for Donald Trump. God bless you all, and God bless America.
I'm all for it. But like I said, that DOD memorandum or directive now, a lot of people really don't know about it. And I had a feeling like if I didn't mention it when it first came out, some of us might not know about it. But I think that's important. He thinks it's important enough to tell out, because people are going to be like, well, Donald Trump's going to do this. Just think, if there is a potential for a riot or political protest in the next 4 months, up until January 20th, there could be a protest where they turn and do martial law. Yeah, Yeti, that was a... Okay, here we go. I didn't watch this one yet, but I saw that it was a Marine, or not a Marine, just a veteran in general, that got to ask Donald Trump a question about healthcare for veterans. Now, you know, some people know that we have healthcare, but it's pretty fucking shitty. And, well, this is what happens if you get what's it called? Socialized medicine.
And here we go. We have time for one final question. Sarah, come on
You
up,
met
girlfriend.
RFK or you met Trump? Either way, that's pretty fucking cool. Because they both all came to Nashville, but I was already too late when I found out.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi. Nice to have you here.
Good evening, Mr. President. My name is Sarah. I'm a veteran, U.S. Marine veteran, and
Great.
And I'm a Purple Heart recipient.
Wait. They
Purple
didn't hear
Heart
this
too,
part.
huh?
This is very important. Please say it again, Sarah.
I'm a U.S. Marine veteran and a Purple Heart recipient of Lehigh County, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Many
got you
veterans
down.
face significant challenges such as accessing quality health care, mental health support, and transition assistance back into civilian life. Will you commit to making the VA Choice program that you open up permanent?
Oh.
So we had VA Choice, and this was something that was so important, was sought. That's where you have a choice of getting a doctor if you can't get fairly, quick service. And I will say we have great doctors. The doctors are.
I can actually
incredible,
see
but
at
the
Vanderbilt if this
administration
happens.
of it is not good. And
North of
4
Nashville.
years ago, we had the highest rated VA ever. We were at 92% approval.
Kind of like
rating.
Northwest.
And I got 2 things done. I got VA Choice, and that was basically you wait, and if you don't have a doctor within 48 hours, you can go outside, get a doctor, we pay the bill, and you get yourself taken care of. People were waiting for 4 and 5 months to see a doctor, and they were not feeling well, but literally it was a minor thing, and they end up being terminally ill because of it. Think of it, terminally ill. The other thing we did, we had a lot of people that because of civil service and unions and other things, you couldn't fire them under any circumstances, no matter what they were. And they were sadists and they were thieves. There were a lot of bad people, right?
Yeah.
You couldn't fire anybody. So they were living with people that were horrible. And these were both authorized by Congress. One was 52 years, they couldn't get it. The other was 58 years. I got the right to fire bad people that didn't take care of our veterans, right? You know that. And
I seen it happen. In my VA clinic, 4 providers got fired. And I know I complained about one of them too. So he's not lying. They are firing them.
we fired 9,000 people and replaced them with great people, with loving
And they really
people.
do. Like, my
And
psychiatrist,
those 2 things, and
this guy was a great hire. The 3 previous ones I had, they even told you that they're not military related, and they fucking sucked ass. I literally would fire them and be like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Give me a different fucking provider. And that's probably why I get a lot of health and welfare checks.
we had a 92% approval rating, and it's never been even close to that. Now, here's the bad news. They're very rapidly breaking the system up. They've hired a lot of the people back that were terrible and that we fired. One of the problems, it's just unbelievable. And they don't, you know why? Because they don't know what the hell they're doing. And the other thing is they're slowly getting rid of choice, so that they're making it so tough that you almost can't use it. We were actually saving one interest because you save, a doctor would fix them up and get them back and beautiful. Instead, they were getting sicker, sicker, and sicker, and many of them became terminal. You know, I did one other thing. I have to say, right to try. That's where you have a right to try medicines that won't be approved for another 4 or 5 years.
So
We've
weed.
been trying for 50 years, more than that, to get it approved. And,
Weed,
the insurance
psychotildin.
companies didn't want it. The
I know
country
they
didn't
have
want
them.
it. Nobody wanted it. The doctors didn't want it because they didn't want to be sued. And I said, here's what we're going to do. I sat down in a room with all of them, the labs. I said, we're going to make a deal. They're going to sign a document saying they're not going to hold anybody liable, and we're going to get the right to try. And nobody really
Fuck
wanted to
yeah.
do it, but we did it. I forced it on them. We have saved thousands and thousands of lives, and even the labs now, and the doctors like it, because we're finding out that, some of these things are incredible. They're taking
It's
people that were
funny,
terminally
short
ill.
bus, because it's pretty much the same shit that we had when we were in the army. So, or active duty. I mean, it really is no change. But now we can fire people in the military. You can't fire providers, but now in the VA you can.
ill, and they're getting better. Some of them are getting totally better. And we've saved thousands and thousands of lives. It sounds so simple. I love the name, Right to Try. People used to go to Asia, they'd go to Europe, they'd go all over the world looking for a cure, or they had no money and they couldn't do that. They'd go home and they'd just die. Now they sign a simple document, and we're using space-age things that won't be approved for another few years by the FDA, and we move that time up. But they won't be approved for a little while. You know, you have to go through a very extensive testing. But if people are willing to sign that, we have saved so many thousands of lives. So I think you understand. But we're going to go back to choice very rapidly. Immediately, we're going back to choice. And we're also going to get rid of the bad people that don't love you. Okay?
I can get a better primary care.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you for your service. My goodness. Army brat here. That's where our roots are. Our servicemen and women, our first responders, that's where it is. And so thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much, and congratulations. I want to wrap up on this, if I could. I had the opportunity a few months ago to talk to your lovely daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, on my show.
She destroyed the Breakfast Club.
She's an incredible woman. She is obviously so committed to bringing you back to where you belong. She's an incredible mother. I've been traveling with her a lot lately, and she's amazing.
Laura's
smart. One of the things we talked
smart.
about on my show was the why with you, because you have a lot of other things you could be doing right now. Your bank account looks pretty good. You have a few golf courses around the country. You have a few buildings here and there. You had 4 incredible years. You have grandchildren. You have another one on the way. Congratulations to your daughter, Tiffany. One of my favorite moments with you was watching the RNC and watching your daughter, your granddaughter, 17 years old, on the stage, and what that must have felt like for you. So there's so much that you have, and then you come out here and you decided it's such a dangerous job, and you choose to continue to do this when you don't have to. It's safer, it's cheaper, all of the things to not do what you're doing today. Why?
No, I don't
Why?
look at Laura Trump like that. She just doesn't appeal.
Thank you.
And Sydney does, though.
Thank you. So, I probably am asked that question more than any other question. They say, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. I think I'm asked that question maybe like, why do you do this? Or if you had it to do again, sort of a similar question, would you do it over? And the answer to that is so easy and so emphatic, yes. But the reason is, I was saying to, in a sort of kidding fashion the other night at a rally with these great rallies, and I was saying, I didn't have to be here.
I just thought of something. When they were talking about if you can go back in history and kill Hitler, would you do it? What if we could go back in history and save JFK's life? Think about that. That would be interesting.
I was in the middle of a little bit of a rough area, and I loved every minute of it. We had, I think, 28,000 people. We had 101,000 people in Butler. You know that. We had 107,000 people in California the other day. And I said, here's the story.
I love
could be
leading.
anywhere I want. I could be on the finest beaches, having that sun go over that very white skin that hasn't seen sun in years. I could be hit in the face with beautiful waves of salt and beautiful salt water. I could be wherever I want, and I have great properties all over. Or I could be here with you people, and you know what? I would rather be here with you than any other thing that I can do, because you have a lot of people that are rich or wealthy, and they can do what they want to do. But we're doing something that's unique. This is the greatest movement of all time. We're going to turn our country around. Our country it's a failing nation. I don't care what you say. I mean, we're laughed at all over the world by other leaders.
Yeah, but
4 years ago,
if they made a movie about it or a show about it, who wrote it? Like, were they the people that want to tell you how history should have been or history is in their eyes? Because that would make you wonder, too.
ago, we were respected by everybody. China, Russia. Russia would have never gone into Ukraine. Israel would have never been attacked on October 7th. We would have never had the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, which is, you saw what happened in Afghanistan, the Taliban.
Yeah, but they want you to think January 6th was the worst thing.
We would have never had Afghanistan. We were getting out, but we were going to get out with dignity and strength, and we're going to keep the big air base Bagram because it's 1 hour away. Spent billions and billions of dollars.
We turned Bagram into like a fucking city.
Longest runways in the world. We gave it to China. They gave it to China. China's now operating. We were 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. We gave it up. Would have never happened. All of these things, we wouldn't have had inflation because our energy was so good. Energy caused the inflation, what they did with energy. But I said to myself, you know, sometimes I think, I see, you know, I get hit with all these lunatics that we have, where the radical left lunatics, where they make up stories about Russia, Russia, Russia. In the end, I wouldn't change what we've done for anything. We're going to make America great again, greater than ever before. And we can't do that sitting on a beach, right? We can't do that sitting on a beach. So I
don't know if we can make our military great again because they said what? 72% of kids don't qualify for the military.
Done a great job tonight, and you have a tremendous understanding. You know, I thought that
there was an old saying, not old saying, like only 1% of the U.S. population in the military or has served.
I appreciate you being here very much.
Thank you. I'm an American. That's all it is. I just love this country, and I love that you love this country. This is what we need. And
Sydney still got fired because of her ideology, which was fucking stupid. All right, which is, I think this, yes. So this was a town hall last night with Kamala Harris and Anderson Cooper. I've caught clips about it, but you know me, when it comes to clips, I want to see the whole thing, so they don't pull a CNN or the Atlantic type shit on us. So this was CNN town hall with like Kamala Harris and Anderson Cooper. You know Anderson Cooper, the same guy that works for the CIA? That Anderson Cooper? Yeah, that guy. He's also a Vanderbilt. Look it up. He's a Vanderbilt.
And welcome. We are live from Chester Township, Pennsylvania, Delaware County, one of the critical counties around Philadelphia that will help determine who wins the White House. Welcome to CNN's presidential town hall with the Democratic nominee, Vice President Kamala Harris. I'm Anderson Cooper. Now, in this room, we have assembled a group of 32 Pennsylvania voters who say they are still undecided or persuadable. All of them are registered to vote. Some cast votes for Joe Biden in 2020, others for Donald Trump. Some didn't vote at all, and for some, this is their first election. Many are leaning right now to one candidate or another, but they all say they have yet to make their final choice. Now, we found these voters working with a nonpartisan research firm, as well as business and religious groups, universities, and other civic organizations. These voters are asking their own questions tonight, selected by CNN to cover a variety of topics. You may see them holding a piece of paper when they're asking their question. It has their question on it. That is a question they have come up with. It has not been edited in any way by CNN. We also invited former President Donald Trump to participate in a town hall or a debate.
Oh, if Trump got hit by that sniper. I'd be on the front lines of the Civil War. Just saying.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Vice President Kamala Harris. And Vice President, thank you.
A Vanderbilt? Think of the Vanderbilts as like the Rockefellers and the why can't I remember the other name? Holy shit. The fucking guy that does all the colleges.
Appreciate it. Thanks. We have a mic right here. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Thanks so much for being with us. We're going to get to the audience in just a second. I want to start by asking you, though, for weeks you have been calling Donald Trump unstable, unhinged. You've called him dangerous. You've quoted General Milley recently, who called him a fascist. Today, you quoted General Kelly, who said that Trump repeatedly praised Hitler.
There we go.
There are
Thank you.
tens of millions of Americans right now who have heard all those things, and they don't buy it, or even if they do, they're still going to vote for Donald Trump. He's arguably more popular now than ever. You have 13 days to go. What do you say to those voters to convince them? Because some of them are in this room.
Sure, and I thank you all for taking the time to be here. And you could be doing a number of other things with your time. So this really is proof that we love our country. People are engaged, Anderson, and really want to talk about the issues. And so the issue that you raise, yes, I do believe that Donald Trump is unstable, increasingly unstable, and unfit to serve.
So here's the thing. They're saying there's no teleprompters, which I really don't really care. But if you watch, there are purposely people staged in the crowd that lip the script word for word.
And I don't necessarily think that everyone has heard what you and I have heard repeatedly, which is the people who know Donald Trump best, the people who worked with him in the White House, in the Situation Room, in the Oval Office, all Republicans, by the way, who served in his administration, his former chief of staff, his national security advisor, former secretaries of defense, and his vice president have all called him unfit and dangerous. They have said explicitly he has contempt for the Constitution of the United States. They have said he should never again serve as president of the United States. We know that is why Mike Pence is not running with him again, why the job was empty. And then today we learned that John Kelly, a 4-star Marine general, who was his longest serving chief of staff, gave an interview recently in the last 2 weeks of this election, talking about how dangerous Donald Trump is. And I think one has to think about,
You know, think, hey, bitch, you just said to yourself 2 weeks before the elections. Why would he do that?
about why would someone who served with him, who is not political, a 4-star Marine general, why is he telling the American people now? And frankly, I think of it as he's just putting out a 911 call to the American people.
What's wrong with that?
Understand what could happen if Donald Trump were back in the White House. And this time, we must take very seriously those folks who knew him best and who were career people
The ones
are
he
not
fired?
going to be there to hold him back. At least before, there were folks who we know what he would say, but they would restrain him. Imagine now Donald Trump in the Oval Office, in the Situation Room. He who has openly admired dictators, said he would be a dictator on day one. The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff has said he is a fascist to the core.
Millie, come
So
on.
I think that when the American people reflect, especially those who are undecided, on who you should listen to, don't take my word for it. In fact, go online and listen to John Kelly, his voice, talking about what he thinks of Donald Trump 2 weeks before the election, because I think we all know, to your point, Anderson,
2 weeks. Why do you
it
keep
is
saying 2
close,
weeks? Like,
but there are
well, it was so important that he waited. He came out 2 weeks before the election instead of 5 years ago when it actually happened, supposedly. Fuck out of here, you cunt.
undecided voters who clearly, by being here, have an open mind, want to talk in a way that is grounded in issues and fact. And when they hear these facts, I think it compels a lot of people to be concerned about the future of our country with Donald Trump at the lead.
You've quoted General Milley.
Yeah,
calling
I
Donald
saw a
Trump
lot of the
a-
word salad portions, and a lot of the, like, she just repeats the same shit that she says at her rallies. Like, this was just another rally until the questions fucking hit her.
a fascist. You yourself have not used that word to describe him. Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I also believe that the people who know him best on this subject should be trusted. Again, look at their careers.
But they've
These
all
are
been
not
proven
people,
liars.
with the exception, I think, of only Mike Pence. These were not politicians. These
All
are
right.
career
This is
people.
what I want to mention. So when you see a general in the military, the second they get that star, they are no longer military anymore. They are politicians. They are. So just get that straight. If they become a general in the military, they are now politicians.
Who have served in the highest roles in national security, who have served as generals in our military, who are highly respected. Talking about
Highly respected by
the
who?
person who would be commander-in-chief, not to mention what we know and what they've told us about how he talks about the military, servicemen and women, referring to them as suckers and losers.
No, he's talking
How
about
he
the veterans like Tim Waltz. That's a sucker and loser.
demeans people who have taken an oath to sacrifice their life for our country.
Something that you've never done. Got it.
And I do believe, Anderson, that part of this is why, even just this week, I traveled this state and others with Liz Cheney, former Congress member who was a very high-ranking Republican. She has endorsed me. Her father, the former Vice President of the United States, Dick Cheney, is voting
I don't
for
know
me.
what she's doing. She's campaigning for Trump right now.
Over 400 previous members of the administration, from Ronald Reagan to both Presidents Bush
Yeah?
to Donald Trump,
Okay.
even have endorsed my candidacy. And the reason why among them is a legitimate fear based on Donald Trump's words and actions that he will not obey an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. He himself has said he would
So the military portion's funny. We do swear an oath to the Constitution of the United States and the orders of everyone above us, to include the President of the United States of America. It's kind of written that way in our oath.
terminate the Constitution of the United States and wants to earn your vote to stand again behind the seal of the President of the United States? No one standing behind the seal of the President of the United States of
rhinos.
America should be in that position saying they want to terminate the Constitution of the United States.
This is Annalise Keene. She's from
Oh, what the
Philadelphia. She
fuck?
works as a fundraiser for Habitat for Humanity. She's registered with no party affiliation. She says she's a Democrat. She's
That's
leaning
bullshit.
toward voting for you.
This is cut.
But said she's yet to make her final decision, in part because of the conflict in the Middle East. Annalise?
Thank you, and good evening, Madam Vice President.
Good evening.
My question is, as president, what would you do to ensure not another Palestinian dies due to bombs being funded by U.S. tax dollars?
Get him.
So I will say, and I think this is to your point, far too many innocent Palestinian civilians have been killed. It's unconscionable.
Right.
And we are now at a place where, with Sinwar's death, I do believe we have an opportunity to end this war, bring the hostages home, bring relief to the Palestinian people,
How?
and work toward a two-state solution where Israel and the Palestinians in equal measure have security, where the Palestinian people have dignity, self-determination, and the safety that they so rightly deserve.
What do you say to voters who are thinking about supporting a third-party candidate or staying on the couch, not voting at all because of this issue?
Listen, I am not going to deny the strong feelings that people have. I don't know that anyone who has seen the images who would not have strong feelings about what has happened.
You're right. I saw the images. I got flashbacks. I saw the images. And you know what I saw? A powerful country imposing its will on the weak and innocent. Sound familiar?
Much less those who have relatives who have died and been killed. And I know people and have talked with people. So
That's
I
cute.
appreciate that. But I also do know that for many people who care about this issue, they also care about bringing
Or she
down
keeps wearing the
price
same
of
earrings for
groceries.
interviews.
They also care about our democracy and not having a president of the United States who admires dictators and is a fascist. They also care about the fact that we need practical, common sense solutions from a leader who is willing to work across the aisle on behalf of the American people and not themselves. They want a president who cares about a fundamental freedom to make decisions about your own body. Understanding?
Right? Do you guys that are 18 and 25 feel that you should register for the Selective Service? Because that means they could take you 18 to 25. If we have the Iran war kickoff with Israel, that could make everyone 18 to 25. Guess what? Your body, not your choice. You are now a U.S. military service member. Go fight. Oh, my body, my choice. Yeah, that only applies to abortions.
That we're not trying to change anyone's belief, but let's not have the government telling women what to do with their body.
I want you to meet
men
Beth
telling-
Sandberg. She's a realtor,
Join the
mom of
army.
4 from Bella Cynwyd, Pennsylvania. She's a registered Democrat. Says she's undecided because of concerns about anti-Semitism. Beth?
Hi, thank you for being here.
Thank you,
Thank
Beth.
you for remembering we need to bring the hostages home.
Of course.
The rise of anti-Semitism and violence from anti-Semitism has risen greatly on college campuses and on our city streets in the last year. How would you combat this growing trend and protect
Why
our
does she
young
have two
adults?
microphones on?
Thank you, Beth. You are right, and
Why does she have a microphone in her hand and on her lapel? That's strange.
will say that we have seen a rise in anti-Semitism. It is something that we have to be honest about and we have to deal with. As Attorney General, I actually published a hate crimes report on a regular basis,
the
and
report do?
anti-Semitism was among the highest forms of hate in our country, and this was before October 7. And we know what we've seen since. Part of what we've got to do is talk with people so that they understand what are the tropes, what are the roots of what we are seeing, so that we can actually have people be more understanding. We need to have laws in place that make those who would commit crimes on behalf of anti-Semitism and hate, that they pay a serious consequence. We need to have the deterrence so that doesn't happen. We need to ensure that college students are safe in their
So,
school.
out of curiosity, are they going to get arrested for saying what they want to say? So you're saying that if they're anti-Semitic, they can't be anti-Semitic verbally? Huh. You know what that sounds like? Suppression. Freedom of speech. Now, crimes, on the other hand, that's a completely different story. They should be arrested. But just
And
saying,
feel
hey, I don't
safe
like
to be able
Jews.
to go to class. But I'm going to tell you what doesn't help. Again, I invite you to listen and go online to listen to John Kelly, the
Why?
former chief of staff of Donald Trump,
Why did you just play it here?
who has told us, Donald Trump said, why aren't my generals like those of Hitler's?
Wait, why? Yeti, how many times has she said the same statement to answer the question? Is this the second or third time?
Like Hitler, who has referred several times, we've heard the reports for years.
Do you believe Donald Trump is anti-Semitic?
I believe Donald Trump is a danger
Answer the
to the
question.
well-being and security of America.
He has said that he...
You know, he's been to the Western Wall. He's been to Israel. Harris?
He's casting himself as a protector of Israel. Do you believe you would be more pro-Israel than Donald Trump?
I believe that Donald Trump is dangerous. I believe that when you have a president of the United States who has said to his generals, who work for him because he is commander-in-chief, these conversations, I assume many of them took place in the Oval Office.
Oh, my God.
And if the president of the United States, the commander-in-chief, is saying to his generals, in essence, why can't you be more like Hitler's generals, Anderson? Come on.
Yo, this
This is a
bitch should be
serious-
censored and
serious
never allowed on
issue.
social media
And
ever
we
again
know
for this
who
misinformation.
he is. He admires dictators, sending love letters back and forth with Kim Jong-un.
Damn, diplomacy is a love letter,
Talks
huh?
about the president of Russia, and then most recently, the reports are that in the height of COVID, when most Americans could not get their hands on a COVID test. Americans were dying by the hundreds a day. He secretly sent COVID tests to the president of Russia for his personal use.
That is not true.
So
He
again,
sent tests because Russia asked the U.S., hey, we need help with tests. And, you know, being the leader of the free world and all, considering we're giving them to everyone else, we said, sure. Set an example, right? What would you have done? Because people are suffering over in Russia because they're Russian, they shouldn't get COVID tests like the rest of the world? They couldn't get masks like the rest of the world? It's weird. You want to be all diplomatic and shit, but when it comes to being diplomatic, oh, we can't do it because they're Russian. Pick and choose, bitch. Either help everybody or help nobody.
and
By the way, help nobody.
this election in 13 days is presenting the American people with a very significant decision. And on the one side, on this issue of who is going to model what it means to use the bully pulpit of
Wait.
the President of the United States
Now it's even
in
weirder
a
because she has a microphone and Cooper doesn't. Why?
manner that in tone, word, and deed is about lifting up our discourse, fighting against hate, as opposed to fanning the flames of hate, which Donald Trump does consistently. I'm going to tell you, we are an incredible country and we love our country. Y'all wouldn't be here unless we love our country. And there are
A
certain
lot
things
of you
where
are here
we've
because
just got
people
to
fought
come
for this
together
country.
and realize that we do believe in the importance of healthy debate on real issues, but there are certain standards we've got to have. And, you know,
We
another
should.
point that even John Kelly talked about, I believe, and many have,
You gonna say it again?
is January 6th,
Oh, yeah.
where you have the President of the United States
Yep.
defying the will of the people in a free and fair election
Yeah, absolutely.
and unleashing a violent mob who attacked the United States Capitol. 140 law enforcement officers were attacked. Some were killed. And so I say that to say the American people deserve to have a president
That's not
who
you.
encourages healthy debate, works across the aisle, not afraid of good ideas wherever they come from, but also maintains certain standards about how we think about the role and the responsibility, and certainly not comparing oneself in a clearly admiring way to Hitler.
Can't stand this.
And we are back with Vice President Kamala Harris. I want you to meet Rob McPherson. He's the Chief Marketing Officer for a local organization. He's registered Republican from Media, Pennsylvania, who told us he's leaning towards voting for you, but has concerns about what he calls shifts in your policy positions. Rob?
Thank you. Thank you for being here, Vice President Harris. So welcome to Delco.
Thank you.
Here in Delco, we pride ourselves on being authentic.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
much of what we have seen much of what you've been saying with regard to issues like law and order and
Oh, shit, there's
fracking
messages.
reflect a more centrist view than what people are used to hearing from Kamala Harris. Leaving some voters to wonder about the
Bro,
authenticity of
Candace
her current, more
Owens is
moderate
fucking
positions.
And she got receipts. All the receipts.
Can you talk a little bit about how your positions have shifted and why?
Sure, and thank you. So first of all, on fracking, I've been very clear. We kind of dispensed with this in 2020. I am not going to ban fracking. I did not as vice president. In fact, as vice president, I cast the tie-breaking vote that now has opened up more fracking leases. My value on the issue of what we need to do to invest in a clean energy economy and a clean energy future has not changed. But frankly, I now have the experience and perspective of having been vice president for almost 4 years. I've traveled the country. I know that we can invest in a clean energy economy and still not ban fracking and still work toward what we need to do to create more jobs and create U.S.-based jobs in a way that will be globally competitive. On the issue of law and order, as you mentioned, I think there's just a whole lot of misinformation, to be honest with you.
Coming from you.
I have personally prosecuted
Oh.
Very serious crime.
Personally,
It's how I started my career. I spent most of my career
on her
as a
knees.
prosecutor, not in Washington, D.C. And as my first priority had and remains as a first priority to me, the safety of the American people. So that has not changed. And sadly, I think that there's a bit of misinformation, if not more than a bit. But I'm glad that you raised the subject so that I can address it. But just if you don't mind, just let me just finish. Because I think the spirit of your question is really important, and I'm glad you raised it. Our country deserves to have a president of the United States who is not afraid of good ideas and does not stand on pride. If a perspective needs to be informed by different points of view to build consensus and to have a common sense approach, I'm never going to shy away from good ideas. And I'm not going to feel the need to have pride associated.
We used to have those people. We called them good idea fairies. And they're the ones that come up with these ideas that we're like, dude, that's so fucking stupid. And we do it. And like, dude, that was dumb. Why would you do that? And a lot of times those are guys were the fucking pansy ass E7s and E8s that had no spine.
With a position that I've taken, when the important thing is to build consensus to fix problems. I believe in fixing problems. I love fixing problems.
Do you?
And so I pledge to you to be a president who not only works for all Americans, but works on getting stuff done. And that means compromise.
Okay.
And it doesn't mean compromising your values or your principles, but it does mean working to get stuff done. And I pledge to you I will do that.
Just to be clear, though, what he's referring to, and you point out, too, when you're running for vice president in 2020, you were not talking about banning fracking, but...
No, Anderson, I pledge that I would not ban fracking.
Right, I know. You said you would not ban fracking.
Correct.
You had said in the 2019 town hall, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. In 2017, you talked about Medicare for all. You talked about 2019, you raised a hand in debate about if border crossings should be decriminalized. Are all of those issues, which those are not your positions now, are all those issues
you're right.
You're saying
comment
through
is
consensus and getting stuff done, you have evolved on?
Well, no, let's take, for example, the issue of Medicare. My point has always been that access to health care should not just be a privilege of those who can afford it. It should be a right for all people. So that is why I have worked on doing what we have done to, one, allow Medicare to negotiate against the big pharmaceutical companies to bring down the cost of prescription medication. We've achieved that in terms of capping the cost of insulin for seniors at $35 a month, capping the cost of annual prescriptions.
Because my daughters work at a fucking pharmacy. So she is full of shit.
$2,000 a year for seniors, but my plan moving forward, based on that very principle that I've always had, is as president to have that cap be for everyone and not just for our seniors. The work that I have done that has been about recognizing the importance of dealing with border security, that has never changed. As I said, I have prosecuted transnational criminal organizations. That I did for years before I ever ran in 2019.
I mean, you did raise your hand saying in a debate when asked if border crossings should be decriminalized, but obviously that is not your position.
I never intended, nor will I ever allow America to have a border that is not secure. I believe we need to deal with illegal immigration. There needs to be consequences, which is why part of my plan that I have outlined, and again, please go to KamalaHarris.com. Sorry to throw a website on you, but
fuck you. Don't go to that website.
And you will see that part of my plan includes what we need to do to actually do more as it relates to putting resources in, including increasing penalties for illegal crossings.
And just finally on fracking, you said you're clear you would not ban it as president.
No, I would not ban it as president.
Right, I know you're clear on that.
So would you
think it is
give
bad
more
for the
contracts?
I think that we have proven that we can invest in a clean energy economy. We can mitigate.
They want to invest in a clean energy economy, but they fucking want to give 20-year regulations to get us a fucking nuclear power plant, which is very, very, very clean. If you're waiting for windmills to be clean, they're not clean. Ask the environment around it. You want solar panels? They're great for the environment? No. They destroy forests. Forests put up these panels for these cities. So those are really good for the environment? No.
greenhouse gas emissions. We can work on and sustaining what we need to do to protect this beautiful earth of ours and not ban fracking.
Time is short, so I want to get some more voters in. Tanisha Spall from Lansdowne, Pennsylvania. She works as an education administration manager for the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections. Registered Democrat who says she's leaning towards supporting you, has yet to make her final decision. Tanisha, welcome.
Thank you, Anderson. Thank you, Madam Vice President, for joining us this evening. I appreciate that you did acknowledge that we are a country that is faced with problems and issues. With the Supreme Court being plagued with issues, would you be in favor of expanding the court to, say, 12, so each justice has only one circuit court other than Chief Justice to assist in making judgments more balanced?
Well, to your point, there is no question that the American people increasingly are losing confidence in the Supreme Court. And in large part because of the behavior of certain members of that court and because of certain rulings, including the Dobbs decision and taking away a precedent that had been in place for 50 years.
It wasn't
protecting a woman's
constitutional.
right to make decisions about her own body. So I do believe that there should be some kind of reform of the court, and we can study what that actually looks like. But I do believe. But again, let's just, while you raise the point of the court, understand that, again, in 13 days, the American people will decide who is the next president of the United States. In 13 days, you will decide who is sitting in the Oval Office on January 20th. And on one hand, you have in Donald Trump someone who has increasingly proved himself to be unstable.
Don't say it.
And who, as we have established, and the people close to him have established, he is unfit to serve. Somebody who, on January 20th, you can be sure, will spend full time, like we know, and we've seen the image mentally of him sitting in the dining room off of the Oval Office, watching for hours as people violently attack the Capitol. You can be sure, because he has said he would weaponize the Department of Justice to go after his political enemies.
Is that a video?
That you can look
Has
at
anybody seen the video of him watching from his dining room? I've never heard about that until today.
Weaponize the Department of Justice to go after his political enemies, that you can look at a Donald Trump in the White House after January 20th, sitting in that Oval Office, plotting his revenge. He has talked about
you do
the
realize
enemies
no one
within.
believes you, right?
We haven't even raised that subject, Anderson. The enemies within. He's talking about the American people. He's talking about journalists, judges, nonpartisan election officials. He has talked about, as John Kelly has talked about, can he send the military after peaceful protesters? And he's going to sit there unstable, unhinged,
I hope Joe
plotting
Rogan
his
destroys
revenge,
your ass when
plotting
he's on
his
with Trump Friday.
retribution, creating an enemies list. I'm going to tell you, my list will be a list of how I address and continue to address the issues that you all are raising this afternoon and evening.
You should already
will be
have
a
it.
to-do list about how we can impact the American people and lift up the American people and address some of the challenges that we continue to face. So,
Vice President Kamala Harris, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Anderson.
And thanks for watching. Thanks to all the voters here. Be sure to join CNN
Oh, there's more.
on November 5th for Election Night in America right here on CNN. Jake Tapper and Aaron Burnett pick it up right now.
Fuck Jake Tapper. Bruh. The amount of bullshit she just fed that crowd or group.
Her
I hope
grandfather, her
not a
grandfather's
single
father.
one of them believe what she fucking said. Everything and she said at least 3 times that Donald Trump and Hitler. Donald Trump and being a dictator. All proven to be false by 3 other witnesses. So we're going to take the word of a guy that, I don't know, is a war hawk that got fired by Donald Trump. Because, you know, all these people that are coming around talking about, democracy bad, or good, are the ones that don't want democracy. Yes, I did do Line in the Sand last night. Go to about the 2 hour and 45 minute mark, maybe 3 hours should be the beginning of it. But if I do Joe Rogan, it's also going to be on Rumble because I get copyrighted on instantly on YouTube, and they will delete the channel because it's Joe Rogan. And they do the same thing when I was doing the original Project Veritas. But we're not done yet. I was going to be done, but I just remembered this thing last night because Kamala Harris always bringing up Trump when it has something to do with her. So Anton Daniels, he does his groupthink debates, and the question was, Kamala Harris preaches after rejecting Jesus, right? So let's see how quickly they get off the Kamala Harris topic and straight to Trump.
Her grandfather, her grandfather's father, her grandfather's father, all the way back up to Hamilton Brown.
Hey, how about you give that to Candace Owens and she'll give you $100,000? She said that. Yeah. I'm not.
I know her background very well. I know her background very well.
She said anyone who can map out her lineage, she'll give them $100,000. So maybe you should go talk.
Like the stories that everybody is saying about her background is 1,000% true. She comes from a communist and Marxist family. This cannot be refuted.
Okay.
This cannot be refuted. The only reason why she has a brown hue to her skin is because her ancestors was mixing with Hindu women, not an African woman, not a Jamaican African woman. And Jamaican does not mean black.
So could you cite that somewhere? Like, could you cite these
Jamaican
sources to
doesn't mean
where
black?
I could like read it and make sure it's accredited and vetted?
You said, can I cite the sources?
Correct.
Well, you said it can't be refuted, so
Listen. Kamala has gone above and beyond to keep her background hidden from the general public. But if you dig deep enough, you'll find out who she really is. But she has definitely gone up. She's definitely taken the steps and the measures.
Dude, I don't like Kamala, but that argument is horrible.
So yeah, can you cite a source? Like I
He's one
like
of
the
those
just
guys.
say so story. Like, just believe me, bro. But like, can you give me something I can read?
I mean,
Why can't you cite the source on the candidate that you're supporting yourself? Why
I
do
can
we
send
know?
you-
Oh.
Somebody, we're not even
no
better
evidence.
than
You can't
y'all.
I can send
Molly's
you material.
The burden of proof is not upon me. You guys
It
made
is if
these
you're
claims.
supporting her.
No, it's not. You guys made these claims. So cite your source.
No.
If you can't, then be
We
quiet.
don't
It's pretty simple.
We don't care about Kamala.
Then why you keep bringing her up?
I like it when
You're-
people say,
listen,
cite
the
your
title
source,
is
cite
about
your
her.
source. Dude, you're supposed to be a smart guy. Look for it. Computer's right there in front of you. Some of these people are looking for sources as you're talking. So why can't you? You're the ones that just go, oh, okay, bruh. Yeah, Kamala good. I believe it.
So then who cares about her?
The
The
question.
title. We're having a
You're the only
conversation.
one that won't talk. You keep wanting to talk about her.
But
Isn't
the
that you?
question is
All right, what did you
literally
join the panel for if you don't want to talk about the topic?
Yeah, exactly.
Why haven't you seen her father her entire campaign?
maybe single
Cite a
mother.
source. That's all I'm
No,
asking.
I'm asking you a question. Why have not you seen Donald Harris her entire campaign?
Why haven't I seen Melania at any of Trump's
You
rallies?
have.
He
I
was.
don't
She was
know.
at the dinner the other night.
You
Shut
have.
up.
I haven't seen her.
She's been at plenty.
Why have not you seen one person from the Harris family her entire campaign?
Of course
Wait,
you
I thought
haven't
she was
seen
raised
her.
by a single mom.
Show your source.
Wasn't she?
That's what
She
she
wasn't.
says.
That's what she
Yeah,
said.
you ain't gonna call it that. She been raised by a single mama.
She wasn't.
Oh, she wasn't. She was
Donald
raised by
Harris.
her daddy too.
Perfect. If these things are matter of fact, then nobody should have a problem citing it.
Okay, so let's just move. Let's just say she becomes a liar. Okay, she lied about her
He is a
background.
liar.
Okay, Trump's a liar. She's a liar. Woo! They're
They're
both
politicians.
liars. Now what?
Listen, comparing Trump saying they're eating dogs, okay? Because that's because
Is
that's
that
what
what you think he's lied about?
Oh,
'Cause I didn't make-
hold up, that's what y'all just quoted. But
Oh, no,
saying
I
that-
didn't
One of the many.
just comparing that to a person changing their entire identity.
Allegedly.
That-
You
it's,
haven't
not,
cited
it's,
source.
it's not an alleged
I
thing.
can
bro.
prove to you that Trump said they're eating dogs. You can't prove to me what you're saying about Kamala.
I can prove to you. I can't send you a website link, but I got material that I can send to your email or whatever,
Send it to
whatever.
Candace and get your money, my guy.
You understand what I'm saying?
Not
But it's not,
kidding.
it's not,
Candace
it's not
is like 10 episodes
it's not
in
like
on her,
something
man.
You can www dot. No,
Well, that's
but if you dig deep into the family, into the Iris Finnegan family, and into the Harris family, it'll take you back to Brownstown, which is her ancestor is Hamilton Brown, who was a slave owner who owned almost 1,200 slaves in Jamaica. This is a fact. This is a fact. Her family comes from England Masons. This is a
What's
fact.
your name? I'm gonna email Candace.
Hey, if you're breaking news on the Anton Daniels podcast, then that's wonderful. But
no, this is not breaking news.
That's not breaking news.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. She hails from African descent. You're right.
I'm not.
She swore into office as an Indian woman.
You're right.
Way
bro.
before she started running for president, vice
You're
president.
right, bro.
Dinosaurs.
She was a senator.
Her
She
peoples was in the slave
Gotta
trade.
be quicker than that, Mom.
You're right.
Now she's black.
You're right.
Because it's convenient.
Her peoples was in the slave trade.
This is the thing, though, Molly. You can't be upset about what's convenient when you want to dodge conversation when it's convenient for you. You don't want to talk about Trump.
I'm not running as the president. I'm not running for president. I'm not running to be our president.
Molly.
It's not about me.
You
are about to
Molly,
vote for
Molly,
a complete
give me a moment.
liar. You don't know. You don't even know the woman that y'all are supporting. Y'all don't know her.
You don't
Y'all are
know.
fighting for her so hard because she's a woman of color.
Molly,
That's it. That's all.
One second.
Not from what she did and her political background. Not for what she did when anything she did before she was even running for office. Y'all have nothing to talk about.
Did she not falsely convict Jamal Truelove? Yes or no?
She's right.
What'd you say, brother?
She absolutely
Did she not falsely convict Jamal Truelove and hide the evidence of his to free him from the trial? Yes or no?
I'd have to look into it.
No, that's
Look
true.
into
don't know
it.
anything about her.
Look into it. That's public knowledge. That's public knowledge. Jamal Truelove sued her for $13.2 million and he won the case because she locked him up, sentenced him to prison for life, and hid the DNA evidence that would have freed him of his freedom. The only reason why he got out of prison was because his family took it to the news station and it forced her to present the DNA evidence to the judge, and that's how he got his freedom.
I don't trust nobody from Baltimore.
Well, how long ago was this? How long ago was this?
This was recent. You can go look it up right now.
Stupid.
Wait. Does it matter how long ago it was?
No, it's just listen. I don't know too much about.
I'm not from Baltimore, bro. I'm from Ghana.
I don't know too much about politics, but it's like Trump's a liar, Kamala's a liar, but we're like so.
Why are we talking about Trump if the subject at the bottom says Kamala Harris?
There you go.
Jamisa.
You're right.
Hey, guilty here too.
We're always talking about Kamala's a liar, 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 but guess what? Trump's a liar too. So what else?
Wait. You just did it again. I said, why are we talking about Kamala? I mean, why are we talking about Trump? If the bottom, me coming in as a person that's just observing, sees that the subject at the bottom says Kamala Harris, why is it that anytime anybody holds her accountable or we have a conversation about her, the default is to say, well, he does it. What are we in third grade?
Well, it's because she does it.
No, I just don't understand these conversations regarding or pinpointing she's a liar, he's a liar, he's this, she's this. It's like, I think they're both regarding criminals, honestly.
Great, but it's not about Trump.
But again, we still going back to y'all still not answering the question. Why is
it came when we were talking about Kamala, and I made my statement about how I felt like she was being disingenuous in her comment when she was in the pulpit. And then I think, is it Troy? I can't see my
Trey.
Sorry, Trey. And then Trey, he mentioned that, Trump is a liar. And so, what would be probably the difference in that regard? Kamala just comes around to be.
So it sounds like instead
Trey's
of actually addressing the subject, Trey chose to do what every other Democrat does on a regular basis, which is to bring something that has nothing to do with what we're talking about as far as holding one person accountable. When I was coming up and I would get in trouble, my parents taught us to stop focusing on what everybody else is doing. Because if I say, well, everybody else skipped class, that doesn't absolve me from being responsible. And I have to address what we're talking about. And so we have to address what we're talking about. Your case is not going to be any stronger because you're saying, well, what about him too? That's a completely separate conversation. Even with my wife, like if we having a conversation and she say, well, if you felt that way, then you should have brought that up before I brought up what you're doing. We're going to focus on you right now. So the question is, or I guess I'm not sure what the question is because there's no question mark.
I got a question.
All right.
Do you all feel like she's a genuine person?
I personally think that she's a chameleon. most people knows
Comma,
that she's a
chameleon.
chameleon, and we don't give ourselves enough credit for being able to spot when we see it. Another thing is it's absolutely disrespectful for her to go up on the pulpit in the black church, which is one of the reasons why people are walking away from the church in the first place. It's disrespectful for these pastors
If
to be
I remember
having
right,
political candidates
I think
in
that same pastor. Let me not say. I need to relook it up before I fuck it up.
their pulpits in the first place. I respect their opinion on who they're voting for and what they're voting for, but to leverage the pulpit of God to ultimately advocate for a candidate, I don't care what your connection is. That is a sacred place, especially for a woman like that walked in a pride parade, especially for a woman like that just did what she did. And I almost think that it was planned for her to go on that pulpit and to do it as a indirect response to what she did at that rally when she silenced the people that said that Jesus is Lord. And so again, I don't trust her. I think that she a chameleon. I don't trust a lot of people. I can disagree with somebody, but still find common ground on something that we agree with that's in the best interest of everybody. I don't trust her at all.
Me neither, bro.
Because any person that just blatantly disrespects the very core thing that I stand on, I can't rock with them. I just can't.
And I think those are like all valid points. And I think the thing where I get lost here is if you think Kamala is a chameleon, I'm fine with that. But I think the bigger point is that politicians are chameleons. So that's why I think your point becomes, I think that's where your point becomes sort of moot. When Molly's going to bring up, oh, what happened with the border, this, and this? Well, who preceded these issues at the border? Why don't you want to talk about that? So would you assess the same blame to the guy
Because
that
they
said,
didn't get bad
I'm going to
until
build a wall and
2021.
Mexico's going to pay for it and then never does it? But it's really convenient to say, oh, no, I don't want to talk about that.
Who said that? We can talk about it.
Oh, no,
Again,
Molly said we can't talk about it.
Listen. First of all, Molly is her own person. You talking to me.
Okay, but no, I'm talking
Molly,
about
Molly can defend herself. She's just
no,
fine.
she chose not to.
Why are you still talking about Molly? You talking to me?
Because you jumped into our conversation.
No, I jumped onto my panel to discuss what subject I
into the conversation to where you had to ask what was going on.
Oh.
No, I didn't. I was asking why y'all would keep talking about something that's not at the bottom of the screen.
Because you didn't understand the conversation. That's all
Well,
I'm saying.
I understand it. I just wanted to show you rhetorically why y'all disingenuous and having these conversations about Kamala Harris when you are supposed or having this conversation about Trump when he's not even at the bottom of the screen as far as the subject that we're talking about.
Trump is
when you substantiate your argument, substantiate it based off of what you know, not what you're proposing that other people include into it that has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
I agree. And that's why I asked people on the panel to cite their sources.
No, we're not going to cite no sources. This is not an listen. We just gonna have a straight up conversation. Ain't nobody about to be going through and cite no sources. We know enough about this to be able to have a genuine conversation without you trying to filibuster and tell people to go and cite their sources. It's not necessary.
You're doing the majority.
He's a Democrat. He doesn't like filibusters.
Absolutely, I'm doing the majority of the talking.
Okay.
You doing a majority of the responding. So you doing a majority of the responding, and then you trying to include Molly into it because you can't stand on it by yourself. But what I'm asking you is, why don't you address the issues that because she's been in the White House for the last 3.5 years, and so the question then becomes, why don't you hold her accountable? Is there anything that you've ever held her accountable for? Or are you just going to keep simping out for her?
It's not simping out. This is the thing. This is an A versus B conversation. This is an echo chamber where you continue to just focus on Kamala. If you want to have
just the topic,
you wouldn't be here.
It's look at 90% of the people watching this are.
If it was an echo, stop watching the chat and focus on the conversation. If it's an echo chamber, you wouldn't be here. Tanisha wouldn't be here, and a lot of
let's
other
just say this to be clear. Q sent out a little thing on Instagram asking for Kamala people. So
oh yeah, no, 100%. No, 100%.
They're the ones not showing up.
No, Quentin.
You so focus on everybody else. Substantiate your own argument. Listen, I don't care where I go. I just came from hostile territory, and I sit on my own.
I saw.
So I don't care where I go. I don't pay attention to the chat. I stand on what I believe in. So forget the echo chamber. Just stand on what you believe in. Is it anything in particular that you don't like about her, or do you support everything that she does?
No, I don't support everything that she does.
So what don't you like about her?
I probably not on board with fracking.
For
Well, I
or
don't know. She
against it?
flip-flopped both times, so we don't know where
Yeah,
she's
what are
standing
you
on
talking
that
about?
Well, there you go. I answered your question. I told you
shit.
I'm
You don't like the fact that she flip-flop, or you don't like her position on fracking?
her position on fracking, that she is
What is
willing
her
to continue
position
to
on
frack,
fracking?
that she is down to frack, that she is willing to frack.
Today
What's
she
wrong with
is.
that?
Yesterday she wasn't, which
Correct.
substantiates my argument. We don't know who the fuck she is and what she stand on no issue.
Well,
You literally just proved my point.
no, your point was that wasn't your point. That wasn't your point.
Yes,
That shit
yes,
kinda
it
was.
is.
To ask
That's
me
my
what did I
original-
disagree with her
my
on. I
original
told you I
point
disagree with
is
her on.
that she's fake and she shifts according to whatever it is that she think that people want to hear. On a CNN panel, she said that she was against fracking. Then today, because she's trying to win Pennsylvania, she said that she's okay with fracking. Who is this woman that you support?
This is the thing. Anton, do politicians not shift and move in talking points?
No. Don't move the goalpost.
Oh, he'd change it up to someone else.
Kamala Harris is the one that's running for president of the United States of America. The highest office in the
She's not running against herself.
The question is, do you like her? And then why don't you hold her accountable for the very thing that you just said that she do wrong?
Your initial question was, what is something
don't
that
even know
I
what she
disagree with?
said.
Your initial question was, what is something that I disagree with? I told you fracking. I answered your question. Now, if you want to move the goalpost, then we can do that.
But it's not moving the goalpost.
You didn't move
We don't
shit.
know where we don't know where she stands on the issue.
No,
Because
we do know where she stands because she
We
said,
don't.
what was her most recent statement?
Oh, we going about it.
It
Just
doesn't matter what the most recent statement was.
So we don't include the past too? Is that all I'm asking?
But Anton, you're not even sitting in your own theory because you're not sitting in your own theory. I don't
Yo, this bitch up here
understand
thinks she's
how
smarter than
you don't
everybody.
understand that if there are two people running for this position, why can't you compare the two when these general questions are being asked? Why can't you do that? Think about the court
Because
of
you
law.
can't say what
When
you like or don't like
paralegals
about
have to
Kamala Harris when you're talking about somebody else. That's, I think, what Anton's getting to. But they don't understand that. You can't have a rebuttal by using the other person.
use research to be able to relate it to something. So if they have done identical things with different responses, why can't they be compared? You never bring up anything about Trump when it's under the
called
same
deflecting,
conversation.
Punch.
We talking about Christianity. Y'all never answer the question on why y'all cool with him creating a book, the Bible, with Trump on it. If you're a true Christian and you believe in Christianity, why is that okay for him to do that?
I didn't say that it was. I disagree.
I'm okay.
No, let's get to it. Okay, so now
it.
I disagree with that thing that he did. Now what?
Thank you. I want to hear
Wait,
that. I never
Trump
get
was
to
on a
hear
Bible? Does anybody know who sells Bibles for 100% profit? Anybody?
What does that have to do with holding?
Because it makes a point that there are different viewpoints based on these candidates.
No,
All the
it
time we're
makes
up
the
here,
point that it
Kamala
shows
is
that y'all
dragged,
are not
and
objective
we
enough.
can't bring up the same situation that Trump has done, that she's done, but y'all only look at how she reacted to
No,
it.
you just
You
asked
don't
the question.
react
I
to-
admitted that I don't agree with that. And here's the beautiful part about it. I don't agree with 100% of anything that anybody says, including him. But I agree with the majority of what he stands on. Here's the difference between you and I, is that y'all inability to be objective. And you're caping so hard. And I don't even think that y'all even like her like that. I think that y'all dislike Trump so much that y'all cape so hard for her that y'all not even able to be objective when you obviously see that she doing wrong shit, that she obviously a chameleon, that she obviously flip-flop on issues. We don't have to agree on everything on a political candidate, but most people can't even justify why they like her without mentioning Trump, which shows you that they don't really like her. They just don't want to vote for him.
Yep.
That's the difference. When I vote for Trump, it ain't because I don't like Kamala. It's because I think that Trump represents the best interest of America. When y'all vote for Kamala, most of the people that say that they vote for Kamala is saying that they don't want to vote for Trump.
But how can you make that statement when he wants to get rid of the Constitution?
Who said that?
So what are we talking about, bro?
I don't understand how you can vote for a person that really doesn't care about you.
I asked the question.
You think Kamala cares about you?
It's always we're moving the goalposts and you don't want to answer the question about the guy Trump.
Do you like
never
her?
want to hold him accountable?
Here's my question. Here's my question. Since y'all just keep on.
Listen, I don't like Kamala Harris. That's it. Plain and simple. Why? Because she's a liar? Because she has done nothing? And she's basically been hiding for the past 3.5 years. And now all of a sudden she's like, yeah, I was there. I was the last one in the room. There used to be a question on both sides. Where is Kamala Harris?
Trump. Oh, here's my question.
I thought you wanted a debate, Antoine.
No, here's my question.
This is a debate.
Here's my question. Do you like her or do you dislike Trump?
I like her.
Why?
Because of everything that she has done thus far in representing who she is as a woman, her background, yes, where she graduated.
She lies about her background, so come on. You think she's not going to lie about everything else?
First point. What has she done to represent herself as a woman?
Again, like I said, she speaks truth to power. She stands on her platform. I
Wow.
am big on women's rights. She's big on women's rights.
on
That's
trans
important. That's
rights.
something I relate to.
You haven't
I keep
told us what
telling
she's
you that.
done. You're just
That's
giving me,
something
like,
that
theory
she's
and shit
done.
like that,
She's
but you-
going around and she's having conversations and she's doing the work to make sure that we can preserve women's rights.
40-something years she's been a politician. What has she done? Give me the boom, 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 boom.
Y'all do this stuff all the time.
Yeah,
No,
you're on
the answer is nothing. The answer is nothing. She's done nothing.
All the time. Yes, she has.
Everything y'all telling me is
She's been a
theory.
VP.
She likes pink.
been a damn
She likes the
senator.
color red. She
No,
wears yellow
In
on
the statement
Tuesday.
that she made,
You're not
if you
told me
did the
nothing that this
research
woman
about
has
Jamal
done.
True Love, if you did the research like you told us, if you go back and look at the research, she wasn't handling that case.
She didn't
You
have
can plagiarize your own book.
I'll call Jamal True Love on the phone right
Please
now.
do it. Please
Do
do
you
it.
all
Because
feel
she
like
didn't handle that case.
how she
Google
represents herself?
will help you.
What you want to put on it?
Do you feel like she's genuine? in
Your
how she
IQ score.
What you want to put on it?
I just told you. Your
What you want
IQ
to put on it? What you want to put on that Kamala had nothing that you said Kamala did not handle the
Yeah,
Jamal
that's the
True Love
biggest
case,
thing,
right?
Batman. The
Exactly.
media wants you to believe that he's trying to ban abortions. Because that's what they can say, but they have no idea how to prove it. Especially when he's come out and says, yeah, it's on the states. I may not agree with what each state does, but it's up to the states, which is why I push local elections.
right here. It says that.
Okay, hold on.
So while he's doing that,
Y'all have to stop going just to
Birth
Google for y'all
certificate and a
information. That
picture
don't make no
ID
sense.
shown on screen.
I was just gonna say that. Google
Hold on, let
just
April
says
go first. Hold on. Let April go first, and then Jasmine. She's trying to
no,
get it.
I was gonna say while he's looking that up, the Trey and the I can't see. I'm sorry, I'm on my phone.
Jamisha.
So do you all feel like how Kamala represents herself? She comes across genuine in how she does that.
I think.
Yes or no?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you asked me a question. I was going to answer
I
it.
think that's
I'm
how
so
we
sorry.
start in other places with the conversation. I mean, because
I'm
it really is
sorry.
a yes or no.
That was a eventful conversation for that likely group of people. There's certain people on those panels that I like, and obviously Trey's not one of them. Alderwoman Harris is definitely not one of them. She wants people to think she's smarter because she's got all these degrees. But you're sitting there on a panel with college kids debating. Got it. Anyway, like I said, remember Friday was tomorrow's Friday? Tomorrow's Friday. Let me look up what time Joe Rogan starts real quick, and I'll let you know. Because that's probably when I'm going to do it. My live tomorrow. GRE. Oh, he doesn't do them on here? Huh. I'll find it. I'll probably find it on X. But yeah, Joe Rogan Experience tomorrow. Well, that was another glimpse into our society as far as criminals go, all the way down to mayor on the way up. You threaten cops, you get shot at. It's your fault, not theirs. You wave your gun at a passerby because he's trying to check on somebody. That's not illegal at all. You're a felon twice over. You're not even supposed to own a firearm, which you've got arrested for before. And then you have Miss Harris. And then kids. It's just weird to like see how Gen Z mixes with Gen X, because I'm pretty sure Anton's Gen X. Or maybe he's older than me. I don't know. Right now he's in Romania, so that's going to be interesting. But yeah, that's about all I got for you today. Hope y'all enjoyed the program for this morning. And I look forward to seeing you guys in future programs. Like, share, leave a comment, all that gay shit they tell you to do on other channels. I am not telling you how to think. I'm just telling you to think. And you know how I was talking about the playoff music? Really? Can I finish? They don't want me to finish.